Hey everybody, how are you?
We're
Hey,
just
Lawrence.
fine, Laurie. Cooking on gas.
We're back. It's Wednesday. It's Pac-Man. We're going there. Lawrence has got a big presentation. For those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, Pac-Man, you're about to learn. And we need to make sure everybody understands before we head into this that we are still and will always be flat earthers. And just because we don't believe in the circle model and map called the AE or the Gleasons does not mean that we are not flat earthers and that we've gone back to the globe, because that won't happen. But we have a false model on our hands, and we've been taking it apart piece by piece for the last year. And it's time for us to move on past all of the circle earthers, right, Lawrence, and become what we truly were meant to be, and that is true earthers, real earthers. And so we're about to explain why we believe what we believe and why we've moved on past the AE Gleason map. So take it away, Lawrence.
Okay, yes, so obviously when we're talking about Pac-Man as well, but the main purpose of the workshop is by using a process of elimination, prove to you that the only way flat Earth can actually work is with a Pac-Man feature. Ronnie, if you can monitor chat, I don't know whether you can monitor chat. I'm going to ask if we've got anybody in chat. I'll ask the question again if there's nobody in chat at the moment. So here's a question for you in chat. Put your answers in chat, but don't put the answer back straight away. Put it back in about 5 minutes from now, so we get the answers all coming through at once, so you can't compare notes. So those of you in chat, see who can tell me two places on Earth that are between 12,500 and 13,000 miles apart. 12,500 to 13,000, two places on Earth. So put your answer in chat in about 5 minutes' time, and then Ronnie can have a look at the answers, and we'll see what interesting replies you come up with. So as a part of this elimination process, we have to get rid of the circular map. Now, we've spent 12 months getting rid of the circular map. And the main points which we've covered ad nauseum are that the dimensions are completely wrong, and whichever way you do it, it's always going to be too big. The path of the sun is incorrect because it goes around in a circle, which we've also proved. The symmetry of night and day simply does not work on circular maps. You can never get 24 hours of daylight in Antarctica, and you don't get, the same length of day and night in respective winters and summers on latitudes that are the same. Ronnie's covered the star trails, showing that they don't work on a circular map. But the biggest problem is, for me, is this ice wall. They're all adamant that they're having an ice wall, and Globebusters have said more than once since they introduced the concept of Cammy's map, which we haven't seen yet, but hopefully we'll see it soon. The map will have an ice wall. Now, Bob didn't say it just once, he said it many times. So I was doing a little research myself. So this is just the final nail in the coffin of circular maps, because if the ice wall goes, you cannot have a circular map because you've got nothing to hold in the water. Take away the ice wall and the whole thing, all the water runs away, and life is not sustainable. So what I was actually looking at was, bear with me, I'm just going to do a screen share. Getting quite good at the screen shares now. So let's do the screen share. And I was going to ask Ronnie and Laurie to read out the stuff on here. Does it keep the thing on screen if you read it out, or does it come off?
Not really sure what you're talking about.
All right. Well, I'll do it. I'll go first with this one. So
you go ahead. So, and before you get going, my bad. I was flustered with the video at the beginning of the show and forgot to say hello to Ronnie. Please say hi, Ronnie, so I know you're not mad at me.
I'm not mad at you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, just wanted to make sure we could hear you. Okay.
No, I was like, Laurie, did you? Did you forget? Okay,
Yeah,
Lawrence.
hello. Ronnie's over there waiting in
Okay.
the corner with the dunce hat
I'm
on.
watching
Hello, I'm on the show too. Hello. Okay, hi,
I'm
Ronnie.
watching the
Bye.
chat.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. My screen's sharing, is it? You've got that, yeah? Because it says here it's sharing. So I was doing some more digging into Antarctica, and I thought I'd just have a look at Scott and Amundsen, who walked to the North Pole in 1911 and 1912. Obviously, it will be interesting to see how far they walked. So. Or travelled. Obviously, they travelled with skis and ponies and motorised vehicles till the engines packed in. But Scott, he started from Ross Island. So you can see on this little image here, from Ross Island, which was latitude 7752 south, so it's well inside the Antarctic Circle. And the green line shows his route to the South Pole. So if we can bring that
Lawrence, just 1 second. For those who are going to be listening to this on the podcast, you said North Pole, and I know that you mean South Pole.
Sorry, South Pole. Yeah.
So he is describing the South Pole for those who can't see the image. Go ahead.
So this is the green line represents the route of Scott, and his distance was slightly more than Amundsen. It was about 60 miles more. So from all the archives, the distance that Scott walked to actually get to the Antarctic, to the South Pole, was 858 miles. So the average distance travelled each day would be the total distance divided by the days. It works out at 11 miles a day. Amundsen, he took a shorter route. He made a dash for the pole. He was on 78 south as well, and his route is shown by this red line here. He got there a lot quicker. He got there in less than 2 months. And they travelled 798 miles, average distance per day, 3 miles more than Scott. So obviously he was a bit more, au fait with the conditions and took a bit of a gamble, but it paid off. So obviously we've shown you in previous shows that the ice wall, if it would exist, would be 78,000 miles long. And I was interested to find out how big it is around Antarctic in terms of, Google. Obviously, I think the distance will be correct, but the shape, it obviously wants unraveling and putting into the correct shape, which I would have it, unraveling out flat, at the base of the diamond. But, that map is still, the best there is. It's not necessarily the map. So anyway, so I thought I'd just check out, and I'll do it now while you're watching so you can see for yourself. I'm going to check out the distance around the pole. So I've got this thing that will measure distances on Google Earth. So you do it in little bits, and then it adds it all up at the end. Oops. This is just a quick rough guide. I'm just going to do it that way. That's the easiest way. I can draw around with it. Here we go. How far is it going to be? So measurements, 9,867 miles. So that is, 1/8 of what they would say on a circular map, because this here will be extended out to the entire edge of a disc, not the globe. So anyway, I'm just going to come out of that. So what I decided to do next was plot the starting points and the South Pole on the Gleason map. So I'll just move this page over if I can. And there we go. I'll just make it a bit smaller if I can. There we go. So here we go. So Scott, he started at longitude 165 east, latitude 77, well, just below 165. And Amundsen, this is his starting point. Now you can see on the Gleason map, they're literally on the opposite side from the North Pole. So they would have traveled by ski and sledge and ponies and motorized sleighs, but they traveled on ice all the way. So they would have to travel along the ice wall. So the question is, how far is it along the ice wall? Well, the full distance is 78,000 miles, and they covered the things divided into 24 segments, which is for 1 hour of each day, and each of those is about 3,300 miles. So it works out that Scott was 36,000 miles from the South Pole, and Amundsen was round about the same. So, you know, if this map was real, both Scott and Amundsen, they would need to travel 36,000 miles around the ice wall to get to the South Pole and travel the same back. Scott didn't quite make it back, Amundsen did. So if this map was real, Scott would need to travel 462 miles per day and Amundsen 632 miles per day. You know, on foot, sledge and thingy, that is clearly an impossibility. I mean, it took Captain Cook 3 years to allegedly get around the ice wall, and these guys are doing it in a very small fraction, you know, by much slower methods of travel. So this is the final nail in the Gleason map. It makes it totally impossible. Now I'll just bring you the one up with flights, and there's several flights internally. Bear with me. Take away this Facebook notification. And okay, on this one, I've been plotting out the Antarctic research stations with a little red circle around the edge. Okay, so travel within Antarctica as seen on the Gleason map. So between October and February, there are several flights per day on ski-equipped LC-130 Hercules. They've been using these aircrafts since the 1950s. They haven't changed that much, but as you can see, they're on skis because they're taking off on snow and they're landing on snow. And obviously, because they're in Antarctica, they will be traveling over snow. Anyway, so between October and February, several flights per day are on ski-equipped LC-130 Hercules aircraft from McMurdo, which is the same place as where Scott set off from, to Scott Amundsen, which is where the North Pole is. It's the geographic North Pole at 90 degrees south. Now, this aircraft, it's got a range of about 2,000 miles. So to go 36,000 miles, it would have to refuel about 17 times on the route. So they'd have refueling aircraft along the ice wall. It's just totally ridiculous. It's got a top speed of 368 miles an hour. So, you know, in 10 hours, it would do 3,680. It would take 100 hours to get there and the same to get back. But these are daily flights. They're going back and to. So my question here, maybe Bob from Globebusters, because Bob's got a pilot's license. He keeps telling us every week to make sure we don't forget. And he likes having pilots on the show. So maybe one of those can help us. And maybe they can shed some light on how this is possible. Or maybe David Weiss, who's got opinions on supersonic flights in the Southern Hemisphere. Well, David, these would need to be a lot faster than supersonic. It would be, you know, Mach 10 or something ridiculous like that. Now, there's also a road. It's an ice road, and that goes from the same place, from McMurdo all the way to the South Pole. It's approximately 995 miles long. You can get all this from Wiki. It's compacted snow, and it links United States, McMurdo, to Amundsen Scott. That's another United States map. So on this map, the distance around the ice rink to get there is 36,000 miles. So it's over 36 times further on this map. Anyway.
Nice job. Nice job,
yeah,
Lawrence.
Yeah, so I was listening to Globebusters, and I'm just going to play a very, very short clip because it's quite poignant, and I'm sure Globebusters will love to hear this too.
Can't hear it, Lawrence.
You can't hear it?
No.
All right, bugger. Let me turn the volume up. Is that better? Is that better?
No.
Can't hear it at all?
No.
Oh.
Take out your headphones. Try that.
Take my headphones out. Yeah, okay.
And,
I hear it now.
you know, part of
Yes.
the process is going to be testing theories, and some of these theories are going to work with our observations, and some of them aren't. Some of them won't be able to prove, and some of them won't be able to falsify. And I agree with what Jaron said, that I just haven't seen enough contrary information to the circular-ish path of the sun to say that it moves in a straight line and warps from the east, you know, from the east side of the map to the, well, no, from the west side of the map to the east side of the map by some form of teleportation or whatever that is.
Yeah, and I'll just end it by saying that we all should be on the same team. Same thing I've said to Stephen Christopher and everybody else. It's by design that they want us all arguing with each other. It's the way that they've been allowed to dance up in their top of their soapboxes for years and years and years because everyone's worried about each other. But if you just look across the aisle at people like Michikaku and you know, Lawrence Krauss, these guys don't call each other out and say, well, I believe in string theory and you believe in multiverse, let's have a debate, because they're not that stupid, because they realize that they're both pushing the same idea and the same religion, if you will, and that should really be what we're doing. We're pushing asceticism, we're pushing observations, and if your observations are matching your model, then continue looking down that path, please. That's great that you're doing something over there. We're doing something over here. You know, even Bob and I don't really talk a lot about what he's researching or what I'm researching, because it's better that we're both researching something different. If we talked every night and we're partners, then we're going to get half as much done. So it's just something that you guys should realize, that we don't need to call each other out. If we run into a wall where the model that we're pushing no longer matches known observations, you can bet your last dollar that we're going to immediately stop going down that path.
Okay. Did you hear Jaron right at the end there?
Sure did.
And what did he say right at the end?
You can bet your dollar.
What else did he say? Let me play the last 10 seconds again.
Some of them won't be able to prove, and some of them. I would add the only thing that I really am not interested in your
fuck's sake.
Oh.
Let's have a debate.
Here, now pay attention, Laurie.
They realize that they're pushing the same idea and the same religion, if you will, and that should really be what we're doing. We're pushing asceticism, we're pushing observations, and if your observations are matching your model, then continue looking down that path, please. That's great that you're doing something over there. We're doing something over here. You know, and even Bob and I don't really talk a lot about what he's researching or what I'm researching, because it's better that we're both researching something different. If we talked every night and we're partners, then we're going to get half as much done. So it's just something that you guys should realize, that we don't need to call each other out. If we run into a wall where the model that we're pushing no longer matches known observations, you can bet your last dollar that we're going to immediately stop going down that path.
Did you hear that, Laurie?
Yeah, they're going to immediately stop going down that path.
Anything doesn't meet their observations, they're immediately, and what else did Jaron say? He said the model that we're pushing.
Yeah.
So he's
well,
pushing the model.
Okay. So he also said that if your observations are matching where you're going, then keep going, and that's fully what we intend to do, because our observations are what is making our path, not our path being dictating what we hope we see. So we're not calling anybody out. All we're doing is we're doing what we're, the path that we chose to follow, and that is to find the truth. And the whole objective of finding the truth in this process so far has been, because we were handed a model that didn't work, we're pursuing why it doesn't work, and through the process of elimination, we hope that that's carrying us in the right direction toward a model and a map that actually do work.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on, Laurie. That was good. I've got quite a bit here. So yeah, so
But hold on one second, Lawrence. I have to say one more thing. Did you tell you told me earlier? I don't watch Globebusters because I don't have time. But did you say that they talked about us and mentioned our names for 40 minutes during their broadcast?
40 minutes.
On the last show.
Complaining about us, yeah. I mean, the people on Globebusters comments, it's on here. People were saying, Bob, the stuff you're talking about is too complicated. We don't get it. You've got to dumb it down so we understand it. And saying, why did you have to bitch about us for the first 40 minutes?
Okay. Well, that's a good question. Why they would have to, just like Jaron said, he works on what he works on, and he expects Bob to work on researching what he's researching, and they don't compare notes until they get together. We're taking a different approach. We compare notes all week long, and we're all on the same path, and we're all researching the same concepts. Even though we are all independently doing our own research, we are comparing notes and we are bringing it back together. So the whole idea of Flat Earth Conspiracy channel, and the reason why we've added more people, we added Ronnie, who's brought much to the table, and we have, do you go by John Walicki? Yes? No? Or just John? One Walicki. There's one Walicki and 9 Walicki. So anyway, we've added him to the show tonight. He's going to make a presentation later on as well. So welcome. John Lawrence was talking when you jumped in. So the idea is that more people are waking up to the direction that we're going, and we actually do make it as simple as possible. Lawrence does an excellent job of breaking down his theories and his ideas and showing the play-by-play research that he does. And you couldn't make it any more simple than we have attempted to make it, so that not only we can understand it ourselves, but that we can use this information to encourage more people to join in the Flat Earth, research community. And so isn't that the whole idea? Now, we're not going to spoon feed it to you, because you have to verify what we're saying. We're giving no intentions of force feeding anyone or even spoon feeding anyone. So let that be said for sure. Okay, go ahead, Lawrence, with the rest of your presentation.
Yeah, well, it's time to bring back Mark Sargent as part of this presentation. Now, this is Flat Earth Clues Part 9, The Magic Show. And this is quite a very interesting video put out by Mark. If it'll play, I'm going to play it.
Magic Show. This is part of a series of clues that can help you get your head around.
Oops, what's that there? Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Flat Earth system live in, and who has been involved in the deception to hide it from you. This Flat Earth perspective initially started out as a problem-solving exercise that was going to be built into Clue 7, otherwise known as the Long Haul. But after some research and a little patience, it has evolved into something that warranted its own section, and is a perfect example of good things come to those who wait. So emails and phone calls have been coming in, almost all of them positive. Several people from around the world commented on the southern plane routes. They said that, well, 95% of the long routes in that hemisphere were connections, which in itself raises red flags. There were a few pesky non-stops that seemed to contradict the overall logic. The question then posed to me was, obviously, are they real flights? Could they be put there to throw the Flat Earth group off? If it was a trick, could I figure out what it was and how it was accomplished? And started my impression of Morgan Freeman as he went up against the Four Horsemen magician crew. Now, admittedly, I was skeptical to start, because the flights went against the third rule.
Sorry. Did you hear that, Laurie?
Yeah, look at theirs.
Third rule.
Yeah, third rule. While we're showing the map of the AE.
What is the third rule? Do you know what it is, Ronnie? You can't hear me.
Yeah, he can hear you. He's just muted.
Let's hear what the third rule is. of flat Earth. Now,
It's got to
what's
be.
with
It's got to be push the circle map no matter what.
Brainwashing. That's the third rule.
No, you don't let me wind that back. So you got it again. There we go.
Went against the third rule.
The third rule.
That being the flat Earth has no shortcuts.
The flat Earth has no
shortcuts.
Now, doesn't Mark Sargent lie about everything? So we take the opposite to what he means as being the truth. What does he then go on to say?
There are shortcuts.
There's all shortcuts all over the place.
Hang on. Just let me play it again.
Real flights. Could they be put there to throw the flat Earth group off? If it was a trick, could I figure out what it was and how it was accomplished? I accepted the challenge and started my impression of Morgan Freeman as he went up against the Four Horsemen magician crew. Now, admittedly, I was skeptical to start because the flights went against the third rule, that being the flat Earth has no shortcuts. Only a globe has shortcuts.
Only a globe has shortcuts. Now, that's very interesting because wherever we lived prior to the globe, which was never the globe in the first place, those same shortcuts must have existed on wherever we were living. Otherwise, they would not be observable in reality and people would notice. So that in itself is an admission that if there are shortcuts on the globe, they also exist on the flat Earth. Anyway, so
Lawrence,
yeah.
Describe for us some flat Earth shortcuts.
Well, I'll come to that shortly, Laurie. While we're on the subject of Mark Sargent, I'm not letting him get away with just that. I'm just going to play the first few seconds of a few of them, just so if you can see if you can notice a sequence.
Flat Earth Clues, Part 10. Hiding God. This is part of a series of clues that can help you get your head.
Part 10. What about Part 8? We've done that one, yeah.
A series of clues that can help you get
Oh dear, you're not that one. You know what that one has.
Flat Earth Clues,
Part 11. Souls in the system. Oh no, it's about maps again. It's about maps. Hang on. Let's look at some other ones. Part 8, creative force. What can that be about? Part 8. Let's have a look. Part 8.
The creative force.
Now, what's this about?
This flat Earth perspective takes a look at the design from the.
Oh, it's their map again. It's their map again. Well, what about Part 7?
Is that really all the longer it flashes on there? Were you playing that?
No,
Did you stop that?
Part 7.
This is part of a series of clues.
Oh, it's about the map again. Well, if you're watching it without the sound,
there's the other one. Oh, there's the comparison map. That makes the other map right.
6. This is about depth of perception. That's got nothing to do with the map, has it? Let's see what this says.
Clues, Part 6.
Part 6. Depth perception. 3, 4. Oh, 5 seconds in. Talking about the maps again. Well, what about Part 5? Status quo.
Azimuthal, equidistant, comes to the rescue.
Status quo. What's this about? Let's see what we get. Oh, it's about the map again. My God, he's keen on this map, isn't he?
Wait, let it go to the other one. Let it go to the other one. That's the verifier right there. That's the official map of the, the United Nations. That must be hiding in plain sight.
Well, the map makers go to have it, haven't they?
Part 3. The map makers.
Which map comes up first? Make sure you don't get brainwashed with the wrong one. So come on. Is that not brainwashing?
That's brainwashing.
Within 10 seconds, you've seen a depiction of an AE map.
Yep, that's brainwashing.
Yeah, but Bob and Jerry,
I never watched them all in sequence like that, Lawrence. That's incredible. Wow. I mean, introducing all the new flat Earth researchers to the map you're supposed to embrace and love. Unbelievable.
We'll just talk for a few minutes before I start the next section so I can grab myself a coffee. But Ronnie, has anybody come back on the chat to give us any places? No?
Nope. Fell on deaf ears, I'm sorry to say.
Okay, and ask the question one more time and see if anybody gets it this time, Lawrence. The question is there any two places?
Two places on the Earth that are between 12,500 and 13,000 miles apart.
Okay, that's the question. Are there any two places on flat Earth that are more than 12,500 and 13,000 miles apart? You can actually Google it. So give it your best shot, chat, and see what you come up with for the answer. Okay, Lawrence, mute yourself if you're going to go make noise and coffee.
So you and Ronnie just chat about what I've covered. So
I'm sorry, I cut him off. Okay. All right, John, say hello. Oh, wait a minute. Let me unmute you. I muted you. Okay. John, unmute yourself up at the top. The mute.
Got it.
There you
Got
go.
it. All right. Hey, how you doing? Hello, YouTube. Hello, Flat Earth Conspiracies. Lori, Lawrence, Ronnie, how's it going?
Hello.
Awesome. Going awesome.
Fascinating. Pac-Man, huh? That was my favorite game in the 80s.
Yeah, well, mine too. It was about the only game in the 80s that women played for sure. There was only a few games, actually, the video games, and maybe 5 arcades everywhere. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, we were lucky. We had a Dream Machine in our town, so we had like
Cool.
more than a handful. So it was great. So how's it going?
Thanks for joining up with us.
Sure.
We've been a fan of yours, and you've been a fan of ours, if there is such a thing. The fan club, Flat Earth Fan Club.
It's mutual.
For a good while, and so we're glad to finally meet up with you live and in person. So
awesome.
This is as close to live and in person as we're going to get. So I know you have something that you'd like to share with us in a little while, but for the meantime, Ronnie, do you have some kind of presentation to do that maybe is a first part?
Well,
I don't want to break you up if Lawrence is going to continue. If you have something that needs, more than 10 minutes or 15 minutes in one segment, then we'll wait.
if Lawrence is ready, he might as well just continue. I think he's back.
Okay. All right, Lawrence, you're on a roll, dude, so
I don't want to
you're
break
muted.
the flow.
Let me unmute you. Lawrence, unmute yourself, please. Lawrence, you've done so good. There you go.
Okay, I'm back now. Okay, so so what I'm going to do next, if you've got a map at home, not a round map because we've already disposed of the round map. I was actually going to burn one, but not tonight. I've still got another Gleason map.
You cut your Gleason map all up last time, so we don't even have one of those to use anymore.
I was going to do a ritual burning outside to say farewell to it. It was quite an education.
You're lagging a little bit. Can you put your earbuds back in, please?
Yeah, okay. So let's stick them back in. So those of you who are watching and you want to take part in this, and if you're able to go in chat, what we're going to look at now are a few routes on maps, and let's see how this pans out with reality. So what I'm first going to do, I'm going to go back to Google Earth. I've still got the sheet. No, I haven't, have I? Screen share, screen share. Right, there we go. So I'm going over to Google Earth, and I'm going to look at a journey between Los Angeles Airport oops, all right, I don't want to get that close, so I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. As long as I can still see the airport, I'll go out as far as I can. Okay, I can just about see it now. So I'm going to do a route from Los Angeles, I think I've already got this one up, to Tokyo. So here we go. Take a path. So I'm starting there, and then I'm going to move across to have a look for where Tokyo is. I presume this is the same one, but I want to see the distance anyway. So I'll go somewhere close to it just to get a rough idea of the distance. That's Tokyo.
Lawrence, can you take that box down that's in the way?
Box.
The untitled path box. New path.
No,
I see. You have to have it. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So I'm just going to go. I'm going up to Tokyo. Okay, so I've got another path that follows the last one, and you look at the measurements, and you'll see that it's about. Oh, where's it gone? I'll have to go back. It's gone off the screen. Let's go back the other way. I had a path back from Tokyo, and then back again the other way. These things are simple to try. I've never used these tools until the last couple of weeks. It's quite interesting what you can work out with them. There we go. So let's go back there, round about there. Oh, it's took a slight diversion onto that one there. And it's 5,546 miles. It's a little bit less than that because that one went off to the side a bit. I did it earlier and it was 5,487. So the interesting thing about that is the plane, if you're flying there, it would fly to the west to go from LA to Tokyo. So let's just take a look at that on a Mercator map as a comparison. So let's go over and find that. Here's the Mercator map. And on here, we've got, I need to make it a bit smaller so you can see it. Okay, this is the only option staying within the confines of the map to go from Los Angeles, which is there, to Tokyo, that's there. Now, this map has got a scale, but it only applies to the equator. In fact, you will never find any map that's truly to scale all over because they simply don't do it. That would be giving the game away. You know, if everything was in the correct place at the correct scale, you'd probably get the correct map. So you got Los Angeles, yeah, there over to Tokyo over there. So each of these rectangles here are about 2,000 miles across. So the difference is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. It would be about 17,000, but because you're further away from the equator, it's less, and it's probably going to be more like, I don't know, let me just get my big map out, see what the total distance is across in LA. It's 13.8, so we're not 5,488. It's about 8,500 that distance there because the latitude's higher. Anyway, so you think, but they, you know, in real life, they don't go that way. So how does the plane fly over there? We know it does because that's the way it goes. We know circular maps don't work. So whatever map it is, you know, they're going to have to fly over there and come back the other side. There's no other way that they can do it. You know, if this was the only way, you know, because with Mark Sargent, this is the only way. There are no shortcuts on the flat Earth. Everything you have to go all the way, you have to go all the way there and all the way back, you know, and you can't take shortcuts off the side. Let's go back to Google Earth and have another look at another one. So let me just cancel that. Okay, and this time we're going to fly from Hawaii to Singapore. Sorry, wrong one on Google Earth. Let's find Hawaii. She's up a bit from LA, isn't it? I've gone across somewhere. Pacific. Where the hell is it? Is that Hawaii? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go from Hawaii to Singapore. Okay, so let's do another route. And we'll go that way until we find Singapore. No, Singapore, I think it's in this neck of the woods somewhere, I do believe. So enlarge it a bit. The Bali Sea. My geography is not that good. Indonesia, it's going to be somewhere near there. Come on, up a bit, down a bit. Looking for Singapore, Laurie.
I think up a bit, right?
I'm going to zoom out a bit again so we can see where we
Yeah,
are.
you're going to have to zoom out. I can't tell where you are because that one thing is really blocking a lot of space.
Actually, it's because I've got the map tilted the wrong way. Oops, I need to get the map tilted the right way around so I can get my bearings. I'll start that route again, but never mind. Singapore, I think it's about there. Let me just zoom in again. Let me cancel that and zoom into Singapore.
Okay, can you find Batam or, let's see, what is this?
I think it's round about there somewhere.
It's right at the tip end.
Yeah.
Right at the tip end.
Kuala Lumpur. Oh, there it is. Yeah, just south of Kuala Lumpur. Right, so we're going to go from Kuala Lumpur all the way back to Hawaii now. Because I lost the thread on that one. So it was about there, wasn't it? So we're going to go across back to Hawaii.
I was going to say they've done a lot of updates on the floor of the ocean, in case you hadn't noticed. I was looking at them the other day.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you got it. That's Hawaii.
Is it? All right. Okay, yeah, it's that one there. Yep, that's that one there. Okay, so now we've got a route between those, and the distance is 6,871 miles. Okay, well, let's go and see if that's possible on a regular map. So we'll go back to the regular map. And here we've got Hawaii on the left-hand side and Singapore on the right. So 2,000 for each of those is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. It's about 17,000 miles between the two. But obviously in real life, they don't fly that way. They go the other way. How do they do it? You know, if the map is a true representation of where we are or slightly different to this, then the facility to fly off one side of the map and the other is a prerequisite. You know, because you could have something, for example, in the top left-hand corner of this map and somewhere else in the bottom right-hand corner. Would you like to hazard a guess, Laurie or Ronnie, how far that would be? Diagonal on the Mercator map.
Oh, diagonal.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's going to be on the Mercator. I don't know. What was that distance that you just did on Hawaii there to Singapore?
It was about, I forget, it was about 17,000 miles.
Well,
but anyway, if you went
I'm
from
going to
one,
guess 30,000 miles.
You're not far off. Yeah, it's 27,950 miles from corner to corner. Well, obviously, in the real world, if anybody hasn't found it yet, please tell us the maximum distance between any two places on the globe. Come back to us when we've got some figures in, Ronnie, and see what figures they come up with. The maximum distance between any two places on the Earth, on the globe, and if it applies to those as well, then we know we're not on the globe. So those same maximum distances between any two places has to apply by simple logic to the flat Earth. It has to, yeah, because that's reality, yeah. And that's what you experience when you travel to places. So let's get some answers in chat. Maximum distance between any two places on the flat Earth. And let's see what they come up with. So let's have a little bit of chat on that one before I move on to the next bit.
Looks like in chat all they're concerned about is that something about Pac-Man portals has some gay sexual connotation. So I wouldn't rely heavily on the chat right now for any serious research. But I know what the magic number is.
You do? Oh, you do, yeah. You do.
Yeah.
You went to it the other week, didn't you?
We've been there. We've been there before.
Yeah. So, yeah. So basically,
Okay,
if you can
so
take...
we know based on history and reality that people fly every day from Hawaii. Well, maybe not every day, but from Hawaii to Singapore, and they go west when they leave Hawaii, and they go east when they leave Singapore. And the same with going from LA to Tokyo. They go west from LA and they go east from Tokyo. And so there are obviously shortcuts on the flat Earth.
Yeah.
So Mark Sargent and his map are both bogus.
Yeah, so, you know, for a flat Earth map to work, there couldn't be more than X number of miles between each two. I won't say what the figure is yet till
Of course,
go.
of course, those who are Circle Earth proponents are going to show you that flat Earth map, they call it, and they're going to show you that, well, you just fly straight from over here to over here, and look how it works. But interestingly enough, it works because it's a flattened out version of the globe. So they're just showing you the same path on a flattened out piece of paper versus a globe. It's no different.
Yeah, and the distances are, even more ridiculous on that one for a lot of the routes.
Well, not only that, but what is east? What is west? I mean,
there is
a
polar projection, right?
That there isn't any.
It's
What, Ronnie?
It's a polar projection, North Pole projection of the globe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously, so my next bit, I'm moving on to time and date now, because this is quite interesting.
Okay.
There we go. Time and date. Let's find it. Okay. I've actually got the live bit on there. Yeah. So I've got a live time and date here now. And look at this. This is, as we're speaking, we've got the sun. It's about, okay, so let's look at the observations here. We've got the sun passing from the west and onto the east. But if you look at the map, yeah, you've got sunshine, darkness, followed by sunshine. So, you've got to ask yourself, how is that possible? How can the sun shine on the opposite side of a huge patch of darkness? That wouldn't make sense with any kind of spotlight, would it? It wouldn't, would it?
No, that really wouldn't work.
Yeah. And okay, so let's move the sun.
So you're serious? This is right now in real time, and we just so happen to capture a Pac-Man sun at this exact moment?
Yeah.
What are the chances, Lawrence?
I don't know.
You couldn't have planned that any better. I mean, we've taken this map before and go forward an hour, go forward an hour, go forward an hour, and there's Pac-Man.
It's got it at the bottom. UTC time is Wednesday, the 7th of September, 2016, 23:54. That's UK time.
Right. Well,
so,
I live in Sarasota, which you can see, Florida, on this map, and the little boot toe whatever sticking down over there, and I'm in quasi semi twilight or whatever. What is that called? Pre-twilight? Whatever.
There's nautical twilight.
Right. The sun is close to setting. It probably hasn't quite set yet, but it's far enough beyond the visible circle of light that I'm in that little semi-dark zone.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what's happening right here. And I bet if I walked outside right now, I could go look at that moon too.
Yeah, so obviously the sun is passing from the west and re-emerging at the east. And that is what happens. That is reality.
Well, yeah, and anybody who disputes this, timeanddate.com, or the way that the darkness and sunlight are laid out on this map, this is observable from any point, anywhere. This is what people would be seeing.
Let me just go take it back 1 hour. Okay, so it's all completely on the...
And Ronnie, for a second, Lawrence. Ronnie, leave that up, Lawrence, please. Ronnie,
Yeah.
I want you to make a note also from the videos that we've been watching over the last couple of days. I want you to look at the light corners, so to speak, up at the top and the bottom. Just
Yeah.
make a note. Just make a note of that. Okay, go ahead, Lawrence.
So when you look at this day and night world map now, I just took the time back an hour to see where it was then. What you actually see is you've got the sun approaching, going west. But look at New Zealand in the corner. The best part of 25,000 miles away from the sun. If there was no connection, and it is in broad daylight. It
Right.
has been for some time. So let's just take it back the other way. On an hour. Plus 1 hour. Okay, so it's going over the edge, and you've got, on this map, you've got daylight, mostly darkness apart from at the very top in the upper Arctic regions. Lots of darkness, and then it gets light again. So that would never be a phenomena from any kind of light. So what I'm thinking is that as the sun moves over here, it leaves a trailing light, yeah. But it's almost like it was a big roll of wallpaper. So I've done a little compilation of a map and a half so you can see. So if you look on this one, we've got Australia on the right-hand side. So I'm just moving this half of the map to that side so you can see where the sun really is in relation to the map. So I'll just dig that one out. There we go. Back to that. Time and date 3. There we go. So I've tagged on, an extra bit of the map on the end of that one. So there you can see a different depiction of the same map, but showing the two sides joined together, with the sunshine. So
Right.
this is effectively what it's like. And the sun is just moving along, and the sine wave or the pulse is coming off, magnetism and stuff like that. And that's what happened. It's almost like it's a continuous sheet of Earths, like you do see when you zoom out of any Google map. I mean, just give me a Google map to look for at random, and I'll show you every one of them. Should we look at the Leaning Tower of Pisa? All right, we'll go. I've been there. Oh, sorry, one. Yeah, Google Maps. Is it going to let me search? There we go. Leaning Tower of Pisa. There we go. The Leaning Tower of Pisa, province of Italy. Let's hope it's going to let me zoom in and zoom out. Is it?
You got to go down to Earth, probably. Click on the Earth square. Down below. Down below.
Which Earth square?
Down in the bottom left-hand corner, click on Earth.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah, good thinking. All right, is it going to zoom in and zoom out? Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So let's just start zooming out. Oh, sorry, you didn't get to see the Leaning Tower. Well, I didn't see it. Okay. So we zoom out.
It didn't look leaning from this perspective.
It is leaning. I've been there. You can actually walk up it. There's a rail that it goes all. Oops, I've gone out too much, haven't I? Oh, they changed it.
They changed it.
Hang on,
again.
Let me just. All right, let me just do the Eiffel
This
Tower.
is where I was. This is where I was last
Okay,
night.
well, I've got. There's a stored one. Here we go. Eiffel map. Google Maps Eiffel Tower.
Okay, maybe you don't want to go to the Earth map. Maybe you want to just stay on the regular map. I'm sorry. Maybe that's what we did wrong. We just did that wrong. Google Map, Eiffel Tower. It's there.
There's one on here. I'm going to get it off this one. Star Trek.
Google Maps, top one.
I don't want Google. I want something other than one. There's another one.
Oh.
I'll put map of it. I'll take Google off because I know
Okay.
they mess about with these features, don't they? Maybe it's quite interesting to know if they've took it off. Street View. Here we are. This is probably an independent one, which may give us what we want.
No, it's Google UK.
Yeah, I know, but it's a different one.
Oh, okay.
Maybe let's have a look at the Eiffel Tower. Okay, where's the map gone?
Okay, now back out. Down below. Oh, it went to Google Earth Street View.
There we go. There we go. Let's go out.
Nice flat horizon.
Yeah.
Especially since it's on the side of the globe. All those people are hanging on for dear life.
Right,
I'm not sure what you're doing. What you're trying to do here, Lawrence.
I was just going to show them the wallpaper effect.
Oh.
You know, might as well stick it in. Let me just try something else.
Yeah, I know the wallpaper effect you're talking about. Let me see if I can find it while you're doing that.
Where's the map?
Okay, well,
You got it?
yeah, I think they took away that version. It comes and goes because
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
Hang on. No, this is
Did
what.
you find one?
I've got this globe-trotting one. Now, I checked this not so long back, and that was zooming out to the, here we go. So we've got Casey Station here in Antarctica. Okay, and we're going to zoom out and see what
Are
we
you
get.
talking about the place where everybody thinks the videos are fake from?
Oh, well, the Antarctica. Oh, yeah, that where they're fake, yeah.
Oh, fake.
Yeah. You can see this join
Okay,
in the middle
there's
there,
the wallpaper version. All right, here we go.
Yeah, so
Fine.
this is what I'm saying, is the sun is continuously moving as though we were on a roll of wallpaper, you know. It's almost as though the sun gets over and then another sun comes out the other side, you know. But if it was a spotlight, which you mentioned earlier today, or this week, Laurie, if it was a spotlight, then not a physical object, then the Pac-Man feature, you know, will be fine, wouldn't it? Also, don't you think? If it was a spotlight,
Yeah, I'll be covering that a bit, Lawrence. Sort of.
Well, you know, so that's my, you know, what I've got on it so far is that reality shows that there are shortcuts on the flat Earth. Mark Sargent said there weren't. He's got rule 3, so maybe we can ask him what rule 1 and 2 are, whether there's any more rules.
He's definitely got the brainwashing down, Pat.
You know, and if you ever wanted your suspicions confirmed that they were trying to brainwash us with circular maps, Mark Sargent's Flat Earth Clues, just tune into any of them, and within 10 seconds, the first image you're going to see, or second image, you know, within 10 seconds or so, here's the AE map. You know, it's right in your face.
All right,
So
thanks,
that's
Lawrence.
all I've got for now. But Ronnie, if you want to do a bit, mate.
Sure. Yeah. Well, if you guys want to talk, I'm just setting it up. Want to get John's opinion or your opinion on that presentation?
Oh,
I really
okay.
enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, Lawrence.
Thanks, Lawrence. Oh, wait, I turned my camera off. 'Cause usually when Lawrence is screen sharing, I get blasted 50,000 times in that tunnel vision thing. Yeah, so the idea with showing, back to the beginning of your presentation, showing the locations for the all of the bases around Antarctica, they would literally have to be placed. They wouldn't all be together like they are in the square mileage shown on the Antarctica on the globe or on the Mercator or the Diamond or any other flat Earth or any other projection. The ice wall would promote the idea that these bases are dotted all along the perimeter of the ice wall, and they do go traveling back and forth between one base and another, especially between Scott and Amundsen and what is it, McMurdo?
McMurdo, yeah.
Yeah. So, and in the summertime, they go back and forth every day. So we know they don't go. What was that one? 36,000 miles.
36,000 miles at 350 mile an hour. I mean, how many hours is that?
So ain't happening. Okay. So the idea, you know, that we've been attempting to show people for the last year, slowly but surely, why the AE map and the Gleason map model doesn't work with the circling sun and the circle map and so on. I reiterate that I said at the beginning of the Hangout, we are not globers. We have not decided to become globers. We haven't, done a Tiger Dan because we couldn't find how it all works. It doesn't all work because it can't work on that map. And I made a post in the Facebook group today, flatearthconspiracy.com Facebook group, that I'm no longer interested in entertaining any more posts in that group for using the circle map, the circle model, or any circle stuff with circling suns and moons and circles with domes over the top and ice rings around the outside. I'm not interested in it anymore. And the reason why is because it has been debunked. And we are on a mission to find the correct version or as close to the correct version of the flat Earth map and model, and we're not going to do that as long as we're holding tight to this debunked model. And you can be sure that the media and the scientists and the government and all of the agencies are all already have full debunk methods for all of those. So,
yeah,
Ronnie,
we had rule 3 from Mark Sargent.
Are you ready?
Didn't we? Are you ready, Ronnie? I thought we'd just talk about some of the other rules that Mark Sargent will be coming up with that he failed to mention. So we've got rule 3. There's no shortcuts on the flat Earth. Well, we've just proven that there are because you experience them in real life.
Right.
What's going to be rule 2? The sun goes around in a circle.
Yeah,
Rule 1.
probably. Well, rule one is the
center.
ice ring and the Truman Show dome over the top.
Yeah. And this was just a, an introductory set of videos, and he'd already decided that he was setting the rules.
Right, setting the rules.
He's making up the Mark Sargent rules, rule 3.
John, do you have something to add to what Lawrence has shown?
Yeah, absolutely. Lawrence was showing the. Can you hear me? Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Yeah, Lawrence, you were showing the time and date footage, and we're all talking about the sun being on this side and that side at the same time. Almost like these 360 videos that we see. It comes in from that. No, it comes back out the other side. I saw this amazing boxing match on RT, and the boxers were literally rotating in front of you. And as one of them went out the edge, then he disappeared off, and then he came over here skewed. And it was very. I can find the footage, but it's deep, months ago. But were you saying? Okay. I had a thought about the fact that we're talking about light. Lori, you mentioning it's light. It's maybe not a physical body per se. And we as humans, I think we can't comprehend, let's say, light without understanding what the source of the light is. And if we don't understand what the source is, then I don't know. It's just because we know there's a bulb, there's a lamp, and it's shining a cone of light down on everything. So I think this is perplexing us. But Ronnie and I don't know what he's about to go into, but we were going through some videos, sifting through tons of videos online of the most obscure places on Earth where there's the midnight sun. And we might have found some interesting stuff. I'm sure Ronnie can show you that. But the conversation we were having is, can we, visualize something right at the point of, let's say, where it passes. I don't want to use the word portal or whatever, but as it passes from one extreme on the left to another extreme on the right, but you're around it. Is there something that happens in that brief moment in time? And so that's why, I think camera footage is important, but Lori, you're very skeptical about a lot of footage, and as we all should be as well.
Well, I'm skeptical, John, because it's time-lapse footage. Okay, that's one reason. At any given interval, where the time-lapse goes from one photo to another, there's plenty of room for alteration, let's say. There's also the opportunity to miss that brief moment between one Pac-Man portal and the next. And then there's also the fact that suddenly, over the last year, actually the last few months ago, I was digging to my heart's content, trying to find South Pole, Antarctica, and North Pole time lapse of the sun on these days that it's supposed. For a long time, all there was like that one video that just, you know, people were saying, oh no, this is the real thing, and then the others went, no, that's debunked, and then the Antarctica one with the guy made with the watch going around, and the sun come, and suddenly, amazingly, there are hundreds of time-lapse videos being posted from all over the place. Lawrence, please mute. For God's sakes. You know, I love this guy to death, but he is just unmutable. Oh, what happened? I just muted him and he unmuted again. You're muted, Lawrence. You're muted. Stay muted. You're making noise. Thank you. People get mad at me because I talk to you like a child. But there he is. He just unmuted again.
Am I coming through?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Don't touch anything, Lawrence. Just don't touch anything. You can talk again when I say so. And so, okay. Sorry, everybody. He's just the hardest one. Okay. So, so suddenly there's all this footage. Okay. Now, I remember the same thing happening after 9/11. On 9/11, there were like 3 footages or 1 footage, okay? Oh, that just so happened these lucky firemen in the street caught the footage of the plane flying over and hitting the tower, okay? And then the live footage that we all know was a live feed from some bogus place, okay? And then suddenly, months later, new footage has arrived, newly released footage, secret footage never seen before, and footage started coming out of the woodwork from all of these people and sources and everything. And so, you know, if you want something, all you have to do is go searching for it, and pretty soon the powers that be will create it for you, and they will post it all over the place, and they'll backdate it with dates back to 2007 or whatever, and you go, wow, how could I never find this a week ago? Okay, so yeah, I'm skeptical. So Ronnie just dropped out. He's obviously having sound problems, which is why he's probably unable to make his presentation or something. I hope he's not crashing. Okay, so there's that. Plus, I have to reiterate, because I say this over and over, but this is the time when it really matters. And that is where you live determines what you see as far as sun or light or the two combined, okay? If you live in UK, you're going to see the sun doing a different thing than if you live in Florida or you live in Afghanistan or Australia. The pattern of the sun going overhead is one thing, but the sets and rises, which we're trying to break away from using those terms, the leaves and greets, are going to have give you a different impression from what actually may be happening. And this is either because there is an anomaly that is happening from the perimeter of Earth and whatever its enclosure is. And we can argue till the cows come home what that enclosure looks like. Whether you use the biblical term firmament, or whether you use Mark Sargent's Truman Show dome, or if you use the idea of a pyramid or a tabernacle with a flat roof and angled sides, any of those anomalies to the perimeter are going to alter your observation, your view of what the sun is doing as it goes farther away from you and comes back in. So that's all. I really want to reiterate that, and I did. Ronnie, are you there? Can't hear you. Don't know what happens with your sound every time, but can't hear you. And you are unmuted. So, John, do you have something you'd like to present while Ronnie's working through his technical problems?
I'm really not prepared to present anything. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about, aside from explaining these images that I made, which is kind of like...
Okay, well,
yeah.
let's do that. I saw the image that you sent me by email, and I'm interested in hearing how you arrived at this image, because it could easily be something completely in your own head, all the way to it could clarify something that the rest of us have been thinking for quite some time. So we'll see what we see.
Awesome.
Do you know how to screen share?
Yes. I got the button right here. Okay. Desktop? Okay.
Select whatever you have open. You have to have it open to the desktop on the front page.
Okay.
And then when you hit screen share, it'll give you the option to select that. And you've done just what Lawrence always does, and you've selected.
Oh, really? Oh, the wrong one. Oops.
That's okay.
Whoopsie.
No, select the image first.
Okay.
Okay, get it on the face of the desktop. And then, or even if you have to pull it out of the group of other open things, sometimes that helps. Grab the tab at the top and pull it away from the rest of the tabs.
Yeah, I selected it and selected window.
Okay, now do screen share.
Okay. And are you seeing anything?
There you go. I'm seeing your desktop.
Okay, perfect. Let's. Which one do you want to start with?
What the heck is that thing?
That's
on your desktop.
Oh, oops.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just something I do a lot of designing.
Okay, so select that model that you have over there.
Okay. Let's start with this one.
Open. You have to open it up.
Okay. Yep. Okay. How's
there
that?
you go.
Okay. So, you guys spoke about this one before. This was real basic. I was just trying to size up the flat Earth, the Collignon map, and just making sure that I got the measurements generally right. You got the 25,000 miles across. It's general. Half of that going from north to south.
Right.
I tried to show, the difference between day and night. On average, it's roughly 12 and 12. If you want to look equinox. So 12 hours daylight, 12 hours nightlight. So I just set it up real simple so that anyone can see what I'm trying to represent.
Okay, so let me see if I think I see what I'm seeing here. You divided it by the axis east and west, and by the axis north and south.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm being creative. I'm flipping it over, folding it over a ruler. So yeah, from this side over here, you're looking at the west point over here and the east point over here. So it's basically the same map over here. It's just halved, so I can show it like you're looking at flat on the Earth. It was basically just to represent some sort of idea of the height of the sun and what the sun is doing over the area that it is illuminating.
I see. Okay, so that would be the celestial path or celestial ecliptic that you have sun spread.
Yes,
the equator.
Yeah,
celestial equator.
Correct. And the sun arc. The sun arc can mean several things. I mean, it's like the path it travels in the sky. But let's say if you're looking at that location from, let's say, a profile view, you're going to see it. You're going to imagine it as it's going to go over from this side down to that side, sort of like if you're at ground level on Google Earth or something. So it's basically just a general size up of what we are all experiencing.
Okay, so let me see if I also understand. You have the actual shape, and then where you have the dark areas are in night.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, and then that's why it looks smaller. It's actually a shadow, and that's nighttime. Okay,
Correct.
I got it.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. I know. It looks just like a bunch of deltas.
No,
or,
it's the way, everybody has their own way of working things through. Most people do better with a visual of some kind than they do just abstract thinking. They need to make it more concrete. So.
I agree. I agree. And luckily, I really enjoy Photoshop because I can really, draft something out fairly quickly and fairly
Right.
easily.
Mhm.
And then, apply some sort of realistic image or, whatever graphics to describe what I'm speaking about. So.
Okay, so on the
Yeah.
the version that you have in the bottom left that has the sideway
Yeah.
south of the equator, I guess.
Yeah.
So that basically is the same light shape that is shown by the sine wave on the Mercator on the timeanddate.com, correct?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
interesting.
basically where I was getting the idea. It might be a bit of a stretch what I'm highlighting up at the top, where the summer arc changes from north to south. I'm not gonna. I was telling Ronnie I don't want to step too far, so I'm just showing generalities of what we experience the sun is doing, and if I can put that into a reference, what I'm showing down at the bottom, it
Okay.
shows some sort of angle, yeah. So
Lawrence,
you get yeah.
Lawrence, I see you unmuted yourself again. So can you do you have any comments on what he's worked on so far here? Does this mean anything to you?
I just wanted to, I know it's only a general comment, but I wanted to ask John what prompted him to start looking at the Caligula map.
Oh, Lawrence! Oh my goodness! It was probably a few. It's probably a few months back that I couldn't get my head across what the sun is doing. If the sun is doing the same path over the equator as it's doing at the tropics, yet it's not over any land. I mean, if you basically trace 24 hours, then yes, and that was bugging me, and that was bugging me forever. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a second. It doesn't have to be over land. It can just be out in the middle of nowhere space off the map in whatever 4D reality, and that doesn't matter. We still see the light from a way far longer distance and probably really refracted from, but yeah. So, and that has cause for the longer days in the north and the south when it's summer and winter. So yeah, but once I got past that part, I was like, okay. So the map works, and now it's just making sure we get the quasi-dimensionality of these objects above the Earth.
John, there's one thing. One thing. I don't know whether you've looked at this, but when you look at the equator and the sun when it's directly over the equator in the spring and the fall, you can actually see that the visibility of the sun from points on the equator is about 6,250 miles each way. But when you look on the map itself, the sun can be just coming over from the east, and you've got places like 12,000 miles away that are getting full daylight. So if it can only, shine directly for 6,000 miles, how do you think the sun is managing to illuminate places up in the poles that are 10,000 or more miles away?
Yeah. My mind works a little backwards sometimes, and I'm going, okay, well, the sun shines 12 hours from one side to the other side, wherever it is, it's shining on 12 hours of Earth, and at any given time, but that's about the same distance as it is from north to south as well. And I was having a bit of confusion with that. Maybe it's because of the diamond shape, I don't know if I have really an answer for you, except that to get a better idea in my head, I'd probably try and do an animation of this map, although as in sinusoidal form. So let's say it would be a series of thin diamonds, very thin, long diamonds, from 24 hours worth, and then I'm trying to understand, like, well, as it passes, boom, 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 boom. What does that mean at the poles? Sorry, it gets a bit confusing in my head thinking about this. So I probably didn't answer your question there, but you've probably given me a lot to go on. Yeah.
Thanks, John. It's confusing for all of us. Trust me.
Yeah.
If I may, I'm going to bring up the other image, the second one.
Okay.
And okay.
Lawrence, please mute and turn your volume down. That's why you're banging and making so much racket. Your volume is turned up too much. Please.
Lori?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Okay, so this is representing the sun and the moon, blah, duh, and I tried to basically give the same simple idea from the straight-on down version of the map, show the tropics and the path that the moon generally follows. The moon basically, I'll preface what I'm going to say by what is coming into my head is that I would say that the sun, there's probably going to be a lot of people going, no, no, no. I'm thinking that the sun is definitely traveling in one direction to another, but I would probably, at this point, I would say that the moon is actually traveling completely 180 degrees opposite of the sun. It's going in the opposite direction, just in a very slow manner, I think, is how I would explain it. But I think that's something that can help explain in time how the moon goes, from its different phases. Sorry, I'm going over to the bottom left now of the screen, showing the same southern profile, and I'm basically giving that 3,000. You see the 3,000 mile mark. I would say the moon appears to dip below the sun and above the sun, and go above the sun, and let's say it goes in like a corkscrew fashion. But I would say that it appears to be a corkscrew fashion, and it appears to go above and or come below. But I think that's only because it's on either the same plate or a similar plate that maybe like canters, from one side to the other as the motion occurs and as the sun, is going through its straight line path in time, and it changes to another line the next day, and then it switches over to another track the next day, and another track. So they're definitely integrated, but I would say this is as far as I'm willing to go right now, at least to understand what they might be doing at a particular level.
Okay.
And also to try and understand this as just another flat plane. Laura, you spoke a long time ago when you were looking at footage of the oceans, and you mentioned how it basically just looks flat on the ocean, and you see the the level of water above. You sort of get an idea of height, but horizon is basically on the flat. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just basically looking at this. Well, if one level's flat, let's try another level flat. And then, let's see, what we can build on from there, and try and discern distance. And like I said, I don't want to go too far, which is why I haven't really explored the planets, because they're tricky and different. And
Yeah,
I'd want to make I'd want to make sure that I got their paths correct, and so I could show an integration there. So I'm not ready to do that yet, but
Okay.
it's a lot of work.
Well, I appreciate the time and the energy and the effort put in to even trying to see how these things work. And we do know for sure one thing, and that is the mathematics of the Diamond Collignon map are proportionally correct. Lawrence did plenty of triangulations between all areas all over the place, and between cities and airports, and compared time and date and length of day, and all, a lot of different effort, or, data went into the effort to make this see if this projection worked, and it does. And we have stated on more than one occasion that if it works on the globe, then it has to work on the flat Earth because it's flat. So whatever they're using to reverse engineer the globe, they're using flat Earth data if it's the same observation that we see. And is that arrogant to say? No, because that's exactly what they've done. I mean, just like Mark Sargent said, there's no shortcuts on a flat Earth. Well, we've proven that there are, and so if it works on the globe, then it works on the flat Earth, and not always in reverse. So,
Yeah, correct,
Ronnie,
correct.
do you have sound?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, excellent. I'm presenting you, so
okay.
take off.
The first thing I was going to say was I put a link in the description. Do you want to screen share that with sound, because I don't want to crash down and burn here, or Lawrence, whoever.
Oh, you mean the video?
Yes,
Okay.
I've time-stamped it and put it in the message box. I'd like to start the presentation off with that video.
On chat here, or
Yep, right in the blue.
Let me find it. Okay, I got it. My cursor's moving. My cursor's wigging out.
And I'll mute and everybody, and we'll listen to what Eric has to say before I start to continue building upon all the great things that we've heard tonight. Great job, guys.
Thanks. Okay, pause. All right, let me
screen share, and we're good.
Okay, hold on. Screen sharing. Ugh. Lawrence, please mute. I don't know how many times I gotta tell you that, buddy. Ugh, he's gone. He literally got up and walked away without muting again.
Shout out to the chat.
Can you please mute him, Ronnie? I can't find the arrow, please. Thank you. Okay, now let me go back and start the video. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for that.
There's nothing inside.
Is the sun actually?
Can you hear it?
It's not burning anything. There's no fusion in the sun. That's well understood.
Prove it.
Yeah, well, there's just not the way to prove that there is any. It's only in the flares that you get fusion. That's where all the X-rays. The flares, the arcs, and the X-rays, and the microwaves, and whatever result of fusion in the arcs. There's no fusion in the sun. They don't know how the sun works.
Why do you? What's special? How does the sun make light?
It's a transformer. Transforms from some other dimension. It's not burning anything. It doesn't have to. It's a converter.
Of what?
I don't know. Nobody knows. But that's what it does. That's the only thing it can do, because that's how everything works.
Transform it from another dimension.
Yeah, you could say it's taking energy from another dimension, counter space. There's no energy, actually. You can't. Most of it you can't even measure in outer space or see.
Can't see.
No, you can't see the sun in free space.
So the sun is not visible in outer space.
Not in free space. It's only invisible when gross matter becomes involved, like the Earth's atmosphere and envelope and the surface of the moon or whatever. That makes the light. Otherwise, there is no light. You can see the moon, you can see the Earth, but you can't see the sun or you can't see the stars.
But you can see the planets and the
Yeah.
satellite.
Right, you can see material objects, but you cannot see the sources of light. There is no light until there's a material object.
To reflect on.
So that means there's no time delay. So the whole time delay thing is meaningless. It doesn't take light years. There are no light years because there's no light. So that means that the light you see from the distant stars isn't 4 million years old. It could be only minutes old. It could be instantaneous. All the theories collapse when you can't see the stars in outer space.
Okay, that's good right there, Lori. Thank you.
Long
Thank you.
solar eclipse.
Excellent,
Whatever's
excellent.
going on in the day. that's
Okay,
all
hold
that
on.
happens.
I got to get back to that screen. Okay.
No problem. Good job.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. I hope everybody took note of what we just heard.
I certainly did. I've watched that. Oh, I might be loud. Hold on. Let me turn my volume back down. I've watched that video several times after I became a flat earther, and it certainly answers a lot of questions. Why you can't see the stars when you get out into, the upper atmosphere, and so on and so on.
Great. I should be presenting as well.
Yep, you're full screen.
Okay, cool. Here we go. So basically what we just heard was, well, I'd like to state a few things right off the bat. The idea is simple. We report what we see, in truth and honesty, right, people? We must open our eyes and be conscious of our surroundings. So, like, that means opening your eyes and actually looking around, doing this together. We will find the truth. But if we just keep our eyes closed, right, the team, so why are we the ones to solve the problems we identify? It can only be all of us. I just want to get that out there because I've been getting heckled lately about calling people out. And the reason why is because I stand upon truth. And it's true regardless of what Eric Dubay, Mark Sargent, or any of these people say. Truth stands on its own, and it always will. So I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Thank you. I like that.
So basically the circuit of the Earth, well, we can definitely observe that the equator is straight and it divides the north from the south. So the shadows in the north are going to go clockwise and the shadows in the south are going to go counterclockwise. We can observe this. We can look at any footage in the world. We all remember this presentation. I'm going to mute it. I don't need to play the sound. Where basically we get explained to that the sun travels parallel to the equator on the celestial equator twice a year, due east to due west. That's observed from everybody on Earth. So moving past this, we can then bring up again the Vieques footage. Just keep banging this home until people quite get with me on this. As we can see, I believe this is 18 degrees north. Is that correct, Lori? Okay.
Yeah. Yes. I'm sorry, I was muted. It's like 18.3 degrees north of the equator.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, that's within the 23.5 degrees of the tropics. And if this peak was actually put to astronomically or aligned with 18 degrees south from its position, it's casting a due east to due west shadow, but in reverse, as the shadow does the opposite of what the sun does. So it moves from the west to the east. So everyone can see that. We all understand that. This is not anything I'm making up here. And then let's take a look at some time lapses of these places in Norway and the north of the Earth. And we can see without a shadow of a doubt that the sun is moving always on a straight trajectory, whether it be close to the horizon, high in the horizon, or out of our horizon. We know that the sun is definitely moving in a straight path. We can't exactly explain why it looks that way from all places on the Earth, but it does. This is just some proof. As we can see, the sun is still moving in a straight path along the perfectly level water that we're looking out upon. And I think everyone can understand what we just witnessed. So the sun is not circling. I'm going to keep going here. I got
You're
another
doing fine. You're doing great.
Yeah, I got a bunch for everyone.
You got some good proofs this time. Well, every time, but go ahead.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a collective, right? I'm sharing what we all do. Like, again, here, as we can notice from Alaska on June 21st to 22nd, 2014, the sun is moving on a straight path from east to west. I don't know how anybody could clearly look at this image and say, oh, well, that's doing a great circle. It's moving straight across the flat straight horizon. It's just, there's no other way to explain that. And this is what we observe. So you remember this footage is also, I believe, almost 2 days of footage. And did you see the sun circle above your head?
No.
No. Okay. Which is being admitted and witnessed by me and everyone in the chat and everyone here, that we could clearly see that this is happening. I'll show one more here, and I'll just keep her going.
I love how that one got really bright right at the end there when it was, when you wanted to say, turn the camera, follow it.
Yeah. This is what's interesting. If we watch the shadows on this building here, we're in Yellowknife, Canada now, which is really north. So there goes the sun. You know, I didn't see it circle, but let's just keep watching, and we'll just admit these footages into the evidence, and that'll be that. So as you can see, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. It's still bright out, but you know the sun is not circling from this position on the plane of Earth. It's not. If we watch the shadows, we'll be able to tell where the sun is or where the light appears to be. I believe that as the sun moves along its path, it does have a back and forth motion almost to a circuit, but not a circle. All we can ever observe, again, is the sun moving in a straight path. This is just over and over and over again. I'm going to keep going. Here, this is some of the best. This is a video that you shared with me, Lori. Okay, so everyone can see this is the, what is this, the third rule? As Lawrence was our March.
Yep, third rule.
Okay, third rule invocation here. Bloogity blah. So here we go. So as you can see, the great circle of the sky spinning around the polar projection of the globe. Nobody sees this view from the plane of the Earth. Nobody, even if you're at the equator. The stars will still look to straighten out at the horizon.
Where's the other pole, Ronnie?
Well, that's the other problem. The other pole would be underneath the Earth here. They're only showing you from the celestial equator up. They're not showing you at the where at
darn.
Those, yeah,
we're missing all the southern stars here.
Yeah, they don't work on this projection. But what's interesting though is nobody, as well, the sky is moving parallel, not at a 90-degree angle to the Earth, which is also physically impossible and never. This would be the star trails. This is not observed, as you can clearly see.
Oh boy, this is so wrong.
You see the angle of the stars; they're parallel to the Earth, whereas the Chinese and many other, the yin yang was at a 90 degrees from the equator, so it's like a wall at a 90-degree angle from the Earth, not parallel. This is just, it's not real. We don't see the stars swinging in on a circular arc like this from anywhere on the Earth, nor do we see the sun or the moon pass by like that. We just watched tons of sun footage, and we didn't see any evidence of anything even remotely close to one frame of this video. And you will not see one real live footage.
Oh my gosh, that is so sad. Who makes these?
Well, this guy obviously isn't a flat earther, but he's a computer animator. But as you can see, the sun coming in. This is
okay.
Not,
So I forgot. Is this a flat Earth debunk video?
I
think it was. Yeah.
It doesn't. What it is putting visualizations to the imagination and fantastical idea of this circling celestial. It spews just absolute. It's as fraudulent as.
So this is the moon. That he's doing now. Oh, this is the best part. Go ahead.
As you can see, the moon traveling around its great circle circuit above the fake flat Earth, you would see 3 to 4 different moon faces. This is just due to absolute perspective, and this must be observed. This is like anyone can swing something above them in a circle and observe what's happening. This is
okay. Can I interrupt you just for 1 second to describe, because it took me a minute to figure out what these little cone things were on the ground, and well, not a minute, but I was like, what are they doing here? So this is from each different observer. One observer is over in Europe, one observer is in North America, and the other observer is in South America. And these cone shapes would be their field of view, what they would see from their observation point. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Totally. Yeah.
And so as this moon would be circling around this flat Earth map, a model, somebody would be seeing the back side of the moon, folks. Somebody would be seeing the side of the moon that the other person's not seeing, and we all see the same face.
Yeah.
Now, it flips around upside down, not upside down, but the clock face, I guess, of Tycho, the little belly button of the moon, moves to different locations. Some people may see it at 5 o'clock. Some people may see it at 10 o'clock on the dial of the face of the moon. But I don't mean in time. But in this projection, I might see the front of the moon, and Lawrence is going to see the phase 2 of the moon, and somebody's going to see the back of the moon. And you're going to say, well, you don't see the back of the moon because it's in the dark. I don't even know how badly this sounds to try to describe. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I could. I'm going to have to mute you. 1 second. Mute. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, we all visually see the same face of the moon all the time, whether you're in the north or the south. And what this model proposes, demands, that 3 different observers would see 3 different faces all the time. And this is not something that we can bargain with. This is actual fact. This is physics and replication of observation. Like, there's no way we would see 3 different faces at the same time. It's never happened. If everyone understands that, as well as the altitude issues with the sizes of the moon and the sun. Even though this is grandeur, it's not far from the truth that the sun does appear to stay roughly the same size. It's because it's a capacitor. It's not a physical object. It's the Earth's atmosphere and the reflections off of the moon and the Earth and different things that creates the sun. The sun is just injecting a transformation of anti-light to light in our earthly physical realm. It actually doesn't have a physical structure to it. I would per se to admit that maybe the moon might be the same type of thing, but we can call it whatever you want until we have physical proof. And to continue with the sun straight path, observations taken from South America in the winter solstice for the north clearly identifies that the sun would be taking a straight trajectory to the south of west. Therefore, if it were somehow magically, by some Faraday phenomena, fantastical effect, be going straight but looking curved, it would still be doing a complete 180-degree left-hand turn. This completely destroys any physical observation. And if you continue to push this model and to plop circus tents over archaeological history, you're going to be shamed and you're going to be called to the forefront and in love. Because if you love somebody, you don't let them continue with lies and with things that are going to hurt themselves. You rebuke them. You chastise them. You know, the people in my life that helped me the most were the ones that told me that the shit that I had to hear, not when I wanted to hear it. And, you know, if people don't want to start working together, we're not going to get anywhere. I guess if I keep going, Lori, this is a little demonstration on how magnetic flux works, tying into the whole concept of a portal. What these physical properties insist is that anything that's injected into a magnetic flux line has to have an equal and opposite reaction as it leaves the flux line. And I covered this a while back. And I guess I had the false model there in the beginning, but okay, so basically you could have this could be a cube. This could be any shape you want, a triangle, a diamond, a square. Does not matter what shape. This is just the properties of magnetic flux lines. So as we can see, he says this would be basically the celestial equator or the equator of the cube flux, or however you want to put it. So you have the direction, which is actually in the opposite direction of the ground. So looking up from the ground, we see the sun moving from the east to the west. So as the motions go through, they start creating the flux lines, and the higher they go, the more they push up. And this is demonstrated and observed. You could sprinkle shavings around a magnet, and you'll see it create these flux lines. And one of the key properties to it is that anything into the magnetic flux has a reaction of going out. What I'm proposing is that at the wherever that it is divided from east to west, there's no space outside of our atmosphere, so it moves seamlessly to the other spot, where then the light of the capacitor of the sun creates the warmth, and as it goes through, like Lawrence was stating, like wallpaper, it basically has a rolling motion. And we can observe these flux equalizations in the stars, in what people have mistakenly called the Coriolis effect, that actually involves star rotation and magnetic flux, not tides and other things like gun bullets. That's just, fantastical ideas. Again, that's not observed. Remember again too, anything into the flux line, no matter where you divide it, is equal going out. And this represents he's got 6 lines in, 6 lines out. And with the other, there's no other way around this. This is magnetic flux. There's a gentleman by the name of Mike Hamlinick, and he said his evidence was he'd been observing cameras in Mexico. He just saw one portal, he stated, the South Pacific evidence, but something is going on. In the North Pacific, the sun sets and rises again. He had a few videos like that. You can check them out on his channel. The camera station in Mexico was taken down, as we can see from the next slide. When you go to the link where he caught the anomaly, you got camera diplomante suspendió por problemos técnicos. Yeah, why is that? Because they don't want you to see something fantastic happening. Why are they spraying the east at nighttime more heavily than they are anywhere else? So basically, that was the quick rundown of a short presentation explaining what I think is going on with the sun and the moon, and there'll be a follow-up. And thanks, Lori, and everybody. Sorry for the complications.
No complications. It's always worth waiting for, Ronnie. And thank you for all the effort that you put forth. I know we talk a lot.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Yeah, I know we talk a lot off and on during the week, and just sort of brainstorm. But you're the champ of putting it all together, what we sort of brainstorm on and come up with. So
yeah, it's teamwork for sure.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
There was a video that John Wonwilicki had got. If you want to play it, Lori, I'll send you the link.
Okay.
And more evidence towards this sort of portal. And if Lawrence could get the video that he had uploaded for his portal,
which one?
There's a portal on Flat Earth video. Everyone can check that out at Lawrence Wright's channel. But there's the link for you, Lori.
Oh, that one, yeah. Do you want me to get it, do you, Ronnie?
Sure, we could watch that after with this one, and we'll talk about it. If John wants to explain what he thought he saw when he saw this one, that'd be cool if he's still there.
Yeah. This guy has a lot of very interesting videos. He's always showing, he's got an interesting name, Monkey Nuts. But he gets these footage from like all over the planet. I don't know what his story is. I've never reached out to the guy. But just a couple days ago, he released this thing, called I Just Caught It Now in my feed. And you see sort of a flash in the sky. Like, what we're trying to talk, is there any observable evidence of something occurring, like in that one, like between frames, as
yes,
and being at Davis Station. I didn't look it up on the map, unfortunately, so I'm not really sure where Davis Station is down in Antarctica. If anyone else has an idea, I could try and look it up now. But
Yeah, throw it in the chat.
yeah,
I can bring it up for you, mate. Do you want me to bring it
awesome.
up?
Yeah, that would help.
Yeah, the screen, and I'll bring it up. Just let me get rid of that a minute. Where's it all gone?
And if you, Lori, if you want to go large screen, you're not. I think you've.
I wasn't presenting. Everybody started talking. I've got it up.
Okay.
I was going to bring up the Davy
Hold on,
Station
Lawrence.
for you.
I'm ahead of you. I don't. You're not. You got to wait.
You might want to mute it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an ad though, I think, but that's okay. Or is that the video?
No, that's what you sent me.
Okay. Let's scroll through it a bit. Oh.
Okay. Is there a certain place that?
Are
you sure this is a? Oh, he's fishing. What are we looking at in this video? Can you tell me what?
Here's another link. Try that one.
All
maybe.
right.
That's the same one. I don't get it.
All right. Maybe it was set to a different place. Screen share. Oh boy.
Oh.
For all this great technology, they don't really make it all that easy for you.
There it is. Boom. If you want
Okay.
the large screen, you got it.
Okay. Present to everyone. All right. Hold on. Let me go find it again. Got too many windows open.
I believe he loops it a few times.
Excuse me. Oh, there's a glitch. Oh, there it goes again. Oh, there it is. Hopefully everyone at home are...
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, these happen all north and south too.
And then bang. Whoa. Quick little video.
But sometimes they're the best. The ones that are too long got so many little glitches and anomalies in them that,
Okay.
oh, where's my hangout? Okay.
I think Lawrence has the address pulled up for that, and then I've got a goodie too.
Okay. Well, let me do it then.
Sorry about that, Lori.
It's all right.
No storm today in Sarasota.
No. Oh, actually, we had, they said we were going to, and it was supposed to happen right in the middle of the hangout, but fortunately.
We brought the thunder.
Yeah. Every week for a while, it's been thunder in the video.
Oh, there's Lawrence is not presenting, or is he?
Wow.
I don't know why it's not doing it right today.
At 8 seconds.
Literally click on whoever it's supposed to be. What are we seeing here, Lawrence?
This is where the sun just appears to vanish into thin air before it's even crossed the horizon.
Oh.
Took it back to the start. This is the one. I think this is the one Ronnie wanted me to show.
I call it the false horizon. I get a lot of that in the north as well, Lawrence.
Just play it again and play it again.
It just sets
where it actually
like 10 degrees above the horizon, and I'm like, hey, I was going to photograph that, you know?
Yeah, it just disappears.
I believe other
webcam, but you can see it's real. There's all cars and vehicles and people moving around. Yeah, let me play it again. Let's play it again and just see roughly how far the sun is going across.
Is it moving straight? Looks pretty straight.
Yeah.
Looks pretty straight.
Yeah, so it's about 2/3 of the way across. A bit further. Still in full view. You can see all the sunlights, full view. It hasn't dropped below the horizon. Still hasn't dropped below the horizon. And then it just vanishes. That's it.
Oof. And then the shockwave comes out.
And there goes the shockwave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the portal clinchers for me.
Well, it definitely doesn't match what the circle demands. I've got another one to screen share as well. This one's going to get Lawrence going. I've got the goodies. Am I screen sharing live?
Yes. Yeah.
What up, everyone? I see Lawrence. Maybe the delay is kicked in.
Well, you're
okay. We're good.
sharing the hangout.
Okay. So this is forgive me if I'm Edgewafor.
That's much of fun.
Edgewafor. It's in Iceland, and we're going to be looking north here at the midnight sun. And this is, really surprising. And I definitely would like people to note the straight path. This is moving from east to west. I don't know.
Yeah, Ronnie, what you can see from that is if you look at the main body of light shimmering over the water, it's coming across in a dead straight line. Now, if the sun was circling, that line would start to go off to a different angle. It's at 90 degrees to the cameraman, isn't it? It's just moving across in a dead straight line.
Well, I mean, to be sure, Lawrence, the light is always to the viewer across water.
I'm saying if the sun was circling, then it would be coming across at different angles.
It's extremely low and it's extremely straight path. That's what's fascinating.
This is almost like some of the most slam dunk home run information concerning the flat plane we live on.
It's got some interesting angular sun rays coming out like, what is that? God, I can't. What would that be? There's like only two of them, and it's going from.
Well, I noticed this. I was saying this to Ronnie when we were watching some other time-lapse films the other day. Well, and I think you were on that hangout, John. And there, in some places, there are 4 rays, and usually in the far north. And then in other places, there are 6 rays. Obviously, these are always picked up by the camera, not by the person's eye. And then in other places, there's 8 rays. But I've noticed I never saw 4 rays, 4 sun rays or 2 across X through the middle until I started looking at this far north footage.
Yeah.
Always saw 6 or more.
So that footage there is pretty.
And that's only 2 rays.
Yeah.
That's even less than 4.
Yeah.
I got a little bit more information, and then I'm done.
Okay.
If you guys want to hear a little bit more.
Bang away. We always want to hear more truth.
Sometimes we don't want to. Like, I couldn't believe.
Well, if it goes against what we have our confirmation bias meter set at, then, yeah, we usually don't want to hear it, but we have to anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Let me just pull this up 1 sec. I think there's a bit of a storm here. But
it must have made a U-turn and gone north.
It doesn't usually. What I'm going to bring up is the.
Are you having slow bandwidth or something?
Nope. Just.
Oh, okay.
Getting the little bit of data here. What I'm proposing is that the sun is moving and weaving through basically time. And what we can observe and what that is being suggested here. I just wanted to also bring up this quick screenshot from this book that I was taking a look at. It's quite interesting how it's depicted. You see that, Lori?
Yeah. It kind of looks like that 23.4 degree angle of the celestial ceiling.
Yeah, which is interesting. And then, too, as well, if you go north anywhere in the world, you definitely will hit some sort of mountain range.
Well, that's a way giant mountain there in the middle.
This would be to the north or the south.
I mean, I understand this is an illustration.
The middle would be right there. Okay, so let's go to this slide. Or did I open it? Okay, here we go. So basically the stupa from the Shirava Bhagavatam, I can't speak very good Indian, but they were well ahead of their time with mapping out the 4 corners and the respect of the movements and the place of the plane that we live on. They stated the Earth was square shape, or basically what they depict in this document is the movement of time and the symbolisms of the actual physical representation of what happens as the sun moves through the realm. And, you know, it's really an interesting document. I'm going to leave the link, as I always do, below. And hopefully people can start to understand that the circle would be the heavenly realms, and the square is the physical representation. So the two of them are meshed. And the sun basically travels along its ecliptic, which, you know, is its sinusoidal analemma snap as it goes through this grid work, weaving basically time. You know, and they demonstrate this quite well in this document, basically with the same basic concept as free energy, with the movements to infinity of the sun rays angle and projection as it's moving across the flat earth. And we can all do these tests if we can all start to understand basically what we're seeing here. These are also tied together with electrical properties because we are in an electrical earth, that's for sure. There's no denying it. And we need to do more understanding in the breadth, width, and height in geometrical thinking. We need to understand the four-dimensional space that we live in, not, you know, these flat than air, you know, earth than water. There's more than that. And like this diagram's depicting, again, the weaving motion of time. And, you know, you can read ancient scriptures about how important weaving was. It might have been one of the first machines ever built. You know, that's just my own opinion. But I believe they're all representations of the truth. And I believe that the God of everything will give us as much proof that we need, whether it be from your scripture or Bible, whether it be from the Bhagavatam, whether it be from the Russian lore. And I hope that gets across. You know, everybody's welcome. The truth doesn't have a religion. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for bearing with me.
Thanks, Ronnie. Okay, I have a proposal that I'd like to make. I'd like everybody to unmute and just take turns or talk over each other. I don't really care. But I want all of us to cite all of the reasons that we discovered individually over time that proves that the AE map and model cannot be a representation of the flat Earth. Okay, so just start out whatever one you think of, like ice ring, dome cover, whatever it is.
The South Circumpolar Sky.
South Circumpolar Sky. Okay.
Straight sun path along the equator twice a year.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Single pole versus double pole. Star trails.
Star trails. Good one. Good one.
The sun's southern path going south, not north.
The impossibility of the ice wall, provable by Scott and Amundsen's actual routes and also the daily flights, makes it a complete joke. If there's no ice wall, there's nothing to hold the water in on a circular map. Okay. It's shot in pieces off that one bit of evidence alone.
Okay. Keep going. There's plenty of them. There's tons of them.
Yeah, we've got the symmetry of night and day, north and south. We've got the star trail paths.
That's right.
We've got equal time. We've got equal time of day, 6 months apart at the at the same latitude, north and south. Meaning at the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn on the same opposite 6-month day, they have the same length of day. How can that work on an AE map?
The square mile. Square miles don't match the globe.
It's like a game show.
You can't map. You can't map with a grid with a circle. You're saying, right? A pie.
Right.
All the routes are 2.5 times as far in the southern hemisphere because
Lawrence,
it's 2.5 times bigger.
Lawrence, what is the farthest distance any two places on Earth can be?
It's about 12,400 and something miles.
Which is the answer to the question of where is any place more than 12,500 miles apart?
Well, the equator.
Nowhere.
There aren't any. Nowhere. Okay, so
nowhere in reality, but they exist on the map if you don't have any portals. But there has to be portals for life to be observable.
Okay, now I want everybody to sing out. Are you a flat earther? Raise your hand.
Yes.
Okay, even though the AE map and model does not work, and you are 100% sure now that it was implanted into the current version of the flat earth movement for the purpose of distraction, diffusion, chaos, panic, disorder, all of the above, and you're still a flat earther no matter what happened with all of that map and modelage, okay?
All right,
So,
can I have one? Put your hand up.
yeah.
Put your hand up if you think this new disclosure about Scott and Amundson's roots in Antarctica, which have been revealed for the first time today, do you think this will get discussed live by the Potato Crew, by Busters, by the Morgile, by any of them?
I don't.
No.
It won't make
They're
flat
not.
Earth news.
Well, this is big news.
It won't make the flat Earth news. I'm sorry, but and continuing on with the ZetettaMasons.com that was involved with Samuel L. Roboth-Ezewit.
No, I'm expecting an announcement from Jeronism that he's completely rejected.
Yeah. Okay.
You bet your bottom dollar. He said.
Let's take bets that Jaron doesn't denounce the circling sun. Who wants to bet?
Nobody's going to denounce the circling sun. If they denounce the circling sun, they have to ditch the AE map and model and the Gleason, and but they're all beholden to Rob Skiba and all of the people who have taken so much, Eric Dubé, who've taken all this time to explain it so perfectly to everyone and to ensure that you have a ready answer for everything. And if you get asked a Glober debunker question, then just automatically say, well, those flights don't exist, or the ice ring holds the oceans in. Yes, there's an edge.
There's no South Pole. The sun
there's no South Pole. Everywhere away from center is south, and everywhere to the left is east. To the
East and west is a
right,
circle.
West. And never mind anybody having to try to describe a defined path or map directions or anything to get from Dubai to Dubuque. Okay, you can't say, well, you go 400 miles north and 800 miles east, and you can't say that because those directions don't exist on a flat Earth.
Okay, I'd like to, admit to the record, Your Honor, I'd like to admit to the record that the fact that my compass doesn't point to Meru, it points 1,000 kilometers away from Polaris.
Throw it away. If it doesn't point to Meru, then it is an unworthy compass.
Honestly, it is 100% the most damaging, another blow to the center pole Meru map, because my compass tells me to go 1,000 kilometers away from your supposed pole.
Okay, so then the next question would be, why would the powers that be, the psychos that be, introduce a psyop into what would be an awakening crowd of people, individual and collective? Why would they find the need to introduce this model?
Dyseugenics, Lori. It's a dyseugenics campaign to dumb the people down while they infiltrate and separate man from woman, child to state. All it is a subtle, they awoken you while they're sticking you needle full of sleeping pills. At the same time, they're telling you we have proof when they're showing you a lie. It's basically, what did they say? The best way to lead a war is control the opposing side.
Control the opposition, right?
Okay, I'm trying to come at it at a different angle.
Well, I get you, but here's the deal. Okay, if there was all of a sudden one day somebody just woke up and said, you know what, I think the earth is flat. I think those people 500 years ago were still right, and they, just because everybody said they were stupid goat herders doesn't mean the earth isn't flat. And so if suddenly one day somebody woke up and said the earth is flat, and then somebody said, what do you mean it's flat? Show me what that would look like. Okay, then this person would go, well, I don't know. It's like, a thing, and and here's here and here's there and so somebody made a nice little presentation. Somebody named Robotham made a nice little presentation, and actually we don't know other than the fact that this guy, is buried somewhere in UK.
He never left England. He never left England. They didn't have webcams.
Okay, so 135 years ago, this guy comes up with this map and this model, and he does this Bedford level experiment, which everyone laughed at and made such fun of, and it was, a big hoopla. But the reality is that you have to ask yourself, where did this come from? Okay, the Flat Earth Society uses this AE map and model, and everyone inside the Flat Earth community knows that the Flat Earth Society is a disinformation site. I mean, after all, what is it? 9 inches per foot per minute or something? The Earth is rising up to create gravity or something. I mean, there's just a whole load of crap over the top. It's like getting a nice chocolate M&M with crap all over the outside of it. Okay, and so here's this map and model. Okay, the circling and the ice wall, and everything's all in a neat little package. Okay, and then it sounds really good, and then you go to try to explain that to somebody. If they're already awake, they're going to go, oh yeah, I see that. Okay, no problem. And then, but if they're not awake and they're one of these classic globe debunkers, globers, they're going to tear this thing to living shreds. The number of debunked flat Earth videos are all over YouTube. But go and look at the model that they're debunking, and every single time it's the AE map and model, because that's what the flat earthers say is the flat Earth map and the flat Earth model. So they've debunked it, but it's okay when they do it. But when we do it, no, it's not okay. That makes us turn into globers. No. So, okay. Let's continue, because I know we have lots more of these why the AE doesn't work. Come on. Keep going. I know you got tons of them. Think back, Lawrence, over the whole last year of all the things that you've been making presentations about. And this one won't probably include the goats or the melons, because that was the globe one. Everybody's muted. All right. So
Thinking.
Okay. Well, I know we hit a lot of them right there at the beginning. Okay. So let's presume. Let's then go to some of the real hard flat Earth debunking questions that the globers always say, like, how come you can't see the Southern Cross from Colorado? I got a guy bugging the hell out of me in the comments for several days now. Okay, how come you can't see the Southern Cross or the Southern Crux from Colorado?
Well,
Ronnie,
yeah.
Why can't you?
Because the further north and the further south you go, the Southern Crux will lower in the sky the further north you go, because that's the way perspective and the sky works. This is what's observed, without a shadow of a doubt. And what I was going to state was,
so on the flat plane, it doesn't matter about how flat the plane is. The perspective, it's the same reason I can't see Mount Everest, and it's the same reason why I can't see the Eiffel Tower or any of the other tall landmarks around the world, across the world.
So, another crushing blow is the straight path of the sun, the straight celestial equator that we can measure, from everywhere.
Okay, so the reality is on the equinox, we know without doubt that the sun travels in a straight path on the equinox across the equator. How do we know this?
On the celestial equator, because it lines up directly east to west on the Earth for everyone. And this does not work on a circular model. It only works on an equally spaced map.
What's the reason we discovered, Lawrence? Unmute yourself. What's the reason we discovered that the sun travels in a straight line on the equinox at the equator? How did we discover that information?
That all originated from free energy when he told us about equatorial sundials.
Equatorial sundials.
Equatorial sundials exist, and the reason that they exist is because when the sun is directly overhead and traveling in a straight line, it's always traveling in a straight line, and it's always directly overhead somewhere between the tropics. And when it's over those places on those days, the sundial does not work in the normal way. It doesn't move around like a clock face. You get a long shadow in the morning and it straightens in a straight line, so there's no shadow at lunchtime, and then it lengthens in the opposite direction in the afternoon in a straight line. That is clear proof that you have something moving overhead in a perfectly straight fashion.
Okay,
That's why they have these sundials.
And if it travels straight on one day or two, since we have two equinoxes, if it travels twice a year perfectly straight, how can it ever travel in a circle?
It can't.
Every day is a straight line.
Okay.
Yep.
So the reality is twice a year, and the reason why we know that it travels in a straight line at least twice a year on the equinox over the equator is because, or is proven by the fact that on those 2 days they cannot use their sundial because the sun travels in a perfectly straight line. Now, an equatorial sundial has an angle like this, and the first half of the year when the sun's up here in the Tropic of Cancer, then this sundial gnomon on the sundial goes around in a circle to tell time. In the second half of the year, the sun is in the southern hemisphere at the Tropic of Capricorn, and as it goes by, it's reflecting off of the bottom of the sundial, and the gnomon, which is that little pointy thing, goes around in a circle as the sun goes across, okay? But on these 2 days, the sun goes perfectly straight over the top of the sundial, and neither shadow works here or here.
Yep, I got another one. There's another one.
Okay. So it's an if-then equation, okay? If the sun goes twice a year straight over the equator, then it goes straight every day.
Then
okay?
this
And it
pond,
just bounces back and forth between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. And in those, here comes the analemma one, okay? Let's jump on the analemma one. Why does the analemma work, okay? And the analemma is the figure 8 that is created when you take a photograph of the sun every day, twice a month, once a week, twice a month, once a month, from the same exact location. As the sun moves from the north across the equator to the south, if you take a picture each of those days,
and
you're
it's
going to
zenith.
get a boom, 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 and it's zenith, correct, very important. Then you're going to get these little dots that are going to make a figure 8, and you have to take individual photographs and you have to mesh them all together, which is a version of time-lapse photography, correct?
Laurie, I've got this. Yeah, correct. I've got this star video I was telling you about from somebody else who's on our side now. This guy, Ronnie, knows this chap. He's from Holland, and it's a short video. I think we should play it because it's bringing in some information that the viewers may not have seen.
Do it up.
Okay, well, turn it up. Pull your earplugs out or your
Okay, I'll put
plugs
the volume going.
and don't make any noise in the meantime.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if that part's necessary, but okay, so let's discuss that. Turn your volume back down, Lawrence. You're screaming. This.
No.
Okay. All right. And put your headphones, your earbuds back in, And let's discuss that.
Walk away from it while I don't.
So what was he saying, Ronnie? What was he showing us about the stars? Lawrence, it's so noisy. Oh my God. Okay. Oh, Ronnie's gone. Okay, John, what did you see from that?
That was a really trippy video. I guess he was trying to say that, like, so close at the, quote, top of the world that, you know, here's the separation between day and night, and hello, he can see stars all around him in the 360-degree view. So he's what I'm saying. How can that be possible? It can't. And if you're, like, right next to this, like, other lit area, there's that, yeah, it doesn't happen. Especially if the world is flat and the sun can haze over.
Well, you would see what they see in the north when the sun is sort of up all day. There is sort of a twilight that happens when it's close to the horizon line, for lack of another word. And so if you, hello?
I got to start recording this. Okay.
What?
The Earth is flat, and me, Event Skeptic Ronnie Harris. Come on now, you can't hack me. Can't shut me down. No, I'm pulling my. Sorry, I got to check. Is this on? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Talk
good,
about
good.
coming in with a big disturbance. You're starting to learn from Lawrence, noisemaker. Okay, so the idea is that what the video maker is saying, if the Earth is a circle and the sun is moving around the Tropic of Cancer on the over there side and you're on the over here side, you would see the light from the sun, at least some backwash, I guess you would call it. Okay.
Yeah, no,
you would see some twilight over there. You wouldn't see black night stars all around you, and that's what he sees, and that's what he's saying. So he's showing from the Gleason map the little solstice picture that they have at the bottom of the map. They have one for you know, summer solstice. Ronnie, I'm gonna.
Yeah. Well,
you're so disturbing.
Well, I got to simplify this.
Think about the podcast, my friend.
He's showing for the listeners who can't see, basically that from Holland looking north during the night, he should see the southern sun, and the stars are there. And he's saying, how is this possible that the sun can be going right behind him in the so-called circle, yet he can see through it?
Right.
I just wanted to add that. Sorry for interrupting you.
You're just a sorry character today with your sound problems and your interruptions, but that's okay. We love you anyway. Okay. So thanks for that video, Lawrence, because it just says that when people stop being indoctrinated by false maps and models, and I'm sorry to use that word, but there is no other word. I can use the word because I was indoctrinated with the same information, just like I was indoctrinated as a child with the ball and the globe and the universe and the space and the planets and the gravity and all that, okay? And I broke free, and so can you. And so this guy has broken free, and he's saying stop with the crap from the main channels who are repetitively promoting continuing to promote false information, Mark Sargent, and that if you continue to do it, Rob Skiba, then you are as guilty of non-truth. You're as guilty of non-truth, Bob Noel, as okay. Because if you continue to do so, and we've tried everything.
Sorry, Jeffrey, drop you. Sorry.
A few weeks ago, we put out an issue to challenge on this channel to anyone to come in, debate, discuss, diffuse, debunk, come forward, prove us wrong, show us where we're in error, show us where the information that we're putting out there is erroneous.
Show us your map.
Show us your map.
Debunk what we've said. Get rid of the Zeta Mason mind control you're under. Realize that you've been lied to. You've been under a spell.
Zeta Mason. That's a good word. Zeta Mason.
Yeah, Samuel L. Robezowit. He was the founding father of Zeta Masonry, and where they've now cast a lie and spun a web of deceit upon people's minds, and wake up.
It's just another form of technocracy, okay? Technocracy is where you run around believing someone because they sound authentic, they sound like they've mastered something, they sound like an official, okay? I run away from officials. I don't know about the rest of you, but I mean, as soon as somebody starts to sound like I'm an official something, I'm like, no, you're not. Okay, you don't.
Yeah, we don't care.
We don't follow.
We don't care if it's your birth. If it's your birthday, Eric, I will
stop
not.
It. Okay,
I will
so
not.
Gross. That was so gross. Put it down.
I'm not a Nazi. I won't.
Okay.
There.
So,
I hate meat.
so the idea that we've officially decided, Lawrence and I, as the beginner creators of this, channel direction, basically a year ago, maybe even a little over a year now. I think it was September of last year that we started having these. We started out with This Week in Flat Earth and moved forward quite a bit. The purpose of the show, the Hangouts, was to systematically go through all of Robotham's line of reasoning and zetetic astrology, whatever it's called, and debunk anything that was debunkable and cut to the chase and find out, what's true and what wasn't about what we're being offered as flat Earth advice, flat Earth indoctrination. And so now Bob and Jaron and anybody who feels the need to incessantly talk about us and about what we're doing and about what our map and model is, now we're announcing that we are moving on and we are no longer going to be strapped in with this stupid map and model, and we're considering ourselves flat Earth advanced because we have nothing else to prove. We've proven it. If you don't buy it or you don't believe it or you don't want to, we don't care. We just don't care because we've wasted so much time being held back by people who have made fun and mocked and called us idiots and you make me sick and all of these other,
you're a glober
connotations, okay, that we're still flat Earth, raising our hands, we're still flat Earth, we're going to be flat Earth till we die, and but we're going to get to the truth, and the only way to get to the truth is to bye-bye, leave the AE and the Gleason behind. So that's what we've done, officially and forevermore. Now, whether or not you like Pac-Man or whether or not you like diamonds or whatever it is that we go through, we're going to systematically keep plowing through every bit of research and information and questioning that we can. Aren't we, Lawrence?
Indeed, yeah. Something I wanted to bring up earlier, but I didn't get a chance. I can just quickly bring this up now.
Sure, take all the time you need.
Okay, let's bring it up. So we looked at Google Earth before, if you recall, and I used the tool to measure the distance around the South Pole, and it was around about 10,000 miles. And I've just done a rough calculation that if you look where the South Pole is on the polygon, if you add up the distance around the South Pole here, it comes to approximately 10,000 miles and would fit within the 60 odd degree south latitude. So that is another thing that fits the diamond map. It doesn't fit the Mercator map because you've got the Antarctic going, 25,000 miles across in the southern hemiplane. So this is probably the only map where the South Pole actually fits with the actual size as shown on Google Earth.
Well, and it certainly doesn't fit on the A.E. Gleason map because then it needs to be, what, 78,000 miles around?
78,000, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we've busted their arse so many times over this, and what they'll probably do now is stonewall.
Well, yeah, there's more to it than that as well. The circular, or what's the word? The heavens, the spiritual side of our existence, is not the same shape. That's where we have the issue with needing people to jump in and research with us. Because
yeah. So after all the name calling and everything else is over and done, and the fact that we now have said, okay, so what? We don't care. We move on. You can make all the fun you want, but you're going to start to sound really boring soon. I mean, you already have, and you've already lost a lot of people and made a lot of people just yawn over your incessant 40-minute rampages about a couple of little people. I mean, think about it. What do we got? 65, 66, 6,700 subscribers to this channel, okay? This is not the biggest channel on Flat Earth, okay? And but all the subscribers that we have are honest and real. We didn't buy any. We didn't buy a single one, okay? And we've plodded along over the last year and gained subscribers. If we're so wrong, I mean, what did we start out with, Lawrence? Like 60 when we first pushed off, okay? And so regardless of all of the fun making and the mocking and everything else, are we required to come up with a map and a model? No, there's no law says if you make fun of something and if you debunk something that now you've got the mantle and you're carrying the torch and you have to make the next model. Nobody ever said that. There's no fourth rule, is there? Third rule, fourth rule, whatever.
Third rule.
Are we required to make Flat Earth clues, Flat Earth conspiracy style? No. Are we responsible to spoon feed or force feed anyone else on Earth to follow or succumb to our will on what is the Flat Earth? No. As a matter of fact, we've said nonstop through the whole thing, verify what we say, go look for yourself. And as a matter of fact, if people had only done that, if they really would have taken our advice and gone on time and date and gone on maps and gone and looked up latitudes and longitudes and where shit is, where airports are, where cities are, they would already know that go to Qantas and actually, what is this bullshit of, oh, you go to try to book a flight and then those flights don't exist, okay? They exist, okay? Give it up. The planes fly across the South. They go from Sydney to Santiago. They go from Cape Town to Sydney. They go around the Southern Hemisphere plane, whatever, okay? And people actually fly on them, and they're actually real planes. Do they drop off the radar? I've heard they do. I've never sat down and watched a freaking radar to go, "Ooh, any minute now, that plane's going to fall off the radar." Again, another one of those bullshit things from excuse me. I get so pissed off. From Mark Sargent and one of his clues, because he just makes shit up. I mean, he just made a whole bunch of shit up. It's just like Eric Dubay makes up a whole bunch of shit. And then he throws in 10 real things, okay? Here's some real things that are actually honest and true. And then here's a whole bunch of shit on top of it.
And it's very divisive as well, a lot of the material.
It is very divisive. Say why. Extrapolate on that.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go into all the, Hitler and Nazi and everything. And I mean, but he's very polarizing. I mean, he's saying, like, you have to be vegan. He's not probably saying you have to be vegan, but he's saying, here's vegan and here's everything else.
If you're not vegan, then there's something really bad wrong with you. Right.
Yeah, there's that message. Right, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
It's about
and if you don't think Hitler's a nice guy.
It's about the dyseugenics program of shaming people and dividing. And what we are doing, Lori, I'd just like to pontificate on your statement and clarify my view.
I love pontification. Go ahead.
I will determine the model and reality of my realm only after disproving all other theories. So when you come to my channel or you post a video about you don't have no mapper model, you don't have no truth, you better think twice, because you're wrong and you're being an idiot and you're assuming and you're trying to make an ass out of me, and you won't do it, because I know the only way to the truth is through disproving all of the lies.
I agree wholeheartedly. I don't like to use the idiot word. That's something you jump on, and that's okay, because you're entitled. You know, it does get very frustrating in the truth department.
There's no south hemiplane. There's a south, a north, an east, and a west. It's that easy. It's that easy, guys.
Yeah. North, south, east, and west. Those are the cardinal directions. And if you don't have a map that you can use to show those, which is square, rectangular, diamond, they got to have 4 points. There's only, you can go look up all the geometric shapes there are out there, and if they got 4 points, it could be that. Okay, if it doesn't have 4 points, like, it's not a triangle. Okay, I can assure you we don't live on a triangle. Do we live under a pyramid? Perhaps. I've said that before. Is it possible that there's some odd-shaped tetrahedron thingy over the top? Sure. I mean, there's all kinds of things that could be over the top. Go look at a tabernacle tent and see what it looks like. Apparently, I mean, we went through quite a bit of that last week, and Ronnie and I talked about it in depth this week on Hangouts. Show that tabernacle, Ronnie. I'm sure you got a picture of that website with the tabernacle and how God said set up all your tents and for the Jews that traveled around for 40 years in the desert. They had to move that thing around a whole bunch, and every single time they had to set it up this way, and this is supposed to be a representation of Earth. And where do you get? Oh, Rob Skebit found the tabernacle, and then in his video, that's supposed to be some other guy's video, but he promoted the video and he put it on his own channel and talked on it or something. He had to go and plop a circus tent dome over the top of the tabernacle. Okay, now that's really stretching, folks. I mean, that's really, talk about brainwashing, for crying out loud. That's really going for it. Here's God's tabernacle out in the desert, and look at there's a dome right over. Look how that fits right over the top of that. And Laurie,
you mentioned something earlier.
Hold on, Lawrence. Let him show this. This is the tabernacle, okay? And this is, boy, those tents are all set up helter-skelter out in the desert. That other one we saw had nice, neat rows of tents, but that's okay. The tabernacle, look at the shape of the tabernacle. It's a rectangle, and it has a flat space over the top, and it has 2 angled down sides, okay? And we discovered that east and west are the 2 ends. Correct, Ronnie?
Yes, it's aligned. It's aligned
with east and west, okay? And you know, we can, if you want to go and look at all this stuff up, it's real easy to find. But the tabernacle, everything is set up just like it's supposed to be on Flat Earth. Stinky Cash. There's another one. Oh boy, how can we forget him? Easily.
Let's not quite yet get off this topic. So what Rob Skiba has done is he's promoted a video where they've plopped a circus tent over what the God of the Bible that is stated told them not to change, not to disobey.
Yep.
He said, do not build any other idol. This is what I give to you. And he scribed it down on 2 tablets, which they put inside a square box aligned with east and west, inside with the angels, the cherubim, representing the roof, like in the holiest of holiest. He did the same shape, and now they want to put a tent. What are they going to put? Is there going to be a cloth shaped like a circus tent over the ark?
Yahweh's terrarium over the top of it.
Oh, Yahweh's terrarium.
That's what Rob sticks over the top of everything.
Could you imagine the blasphemy? Could you imagine?
Well, I mean, don't even go there. That's not even the point. It's something Rob's going to have to deal with for himself. But with regards to all the followers of Rob and all the other Circle Earthers, you know, you have to ask yourself, what have I done to verify or check out or prove or disprove what any of these people are telling me? Okay, you suddenly have to realize that you have found yourself back in the same place you were in the 6th grade, where you were indoctrinated with globes and gravity and planets and all the other bullshit education that you got, and you just traded one for the other one, for a new one, a flat earth one. You have to stop and become a critical thinker again. The place you were when you became a flat earther, where you saw something, it resonated with you, and you checked it out, okay? Now you have to go and check it out again and go, was I sold a second bill of goods? And damn it, if I was, then what am I going to do now? Do I go and follow Lori and Lawrence and Ronnie and John and all of these other people who are into this square diamond path? No, we don't want you to follow us anywhere. We want you to stand beside us. We want you to be next to us. And we want you to go on this journey together. And if you got some input off of what we talk about, then throw it down. Put it in the comments. Send me a message. I get them all day long. I spend so much time answering messages. And that's all we want. Do we want to be talked about for 40 minutes on another channel? Yeah. If they're going to go over our stuff and say, look what these guys said, this has some resonance to it too, and this makes some sense, and so maybe you guys should look into this, okay? If you want to talk about us like that. Otherwise, we don't really care what you have to say. It doesn't resonate with me, okay?
I'll say this: it gets difficult to keep trying to push the AA map. I mean, wow, that's like trying to push a TV show that no one wants to come see. I mean, you can't even give the tickets away after a while.
Right.
So they got, you know.
Well, and it becomes like the Seinfeld show, a show about nothing, and you know.
If you want to present me, Lori.
Sure.
We can put the final nail in the coffin.
The final 10 Yahweh's terrarium on the tabernacle.
How many nails is this that we put in the coffin so far?
Is there a cherry on top of that, or did they leave that off?
Yeah, are these the Dante's Inferno's occultation?
I mean, come on with this.
Is there demons circling inside of here into the black hole?
Yeah, there's a little sun in there. There's a little moon in there going around a circle, and there's some stars on the top of the tent.
And then we go back to this, and God said, "You shall not make anything other than this to represent where you are." And then we got this is 2016, trying to keep up like the days of Noah.
The days of Noah.
Yeah, Laurie,
and so it was in the days of Noah, and so it shall be again.
Am I muted?
No, you're not. We can hear you fine.
All right. Well, obviously, we have thrown a huge spanner in the works of this false model, it is totally untenable now because there's no ice wall, no oceans, no North Pole at the centre. Now, we were chatting earlier this week, and we think that these people promoting the false model, because they cannot make a flat Earth model that works now, not that they ever could, but they failed to persuade the masses that it is the model. And we think that leading flat earthers are going to defect to Lord Stephen Christ and his model.
Which is even more impossible.
Up the wall, up the wall, up the wall, up the wall.
Up the circus tent. Up the circus tent.
Up the wall, over the tunnel, down the wall, down the wall, down the wall. If you don't know what we're talking about, you have to go and watch last week's Globebusters.
Check it out. Yeah,
Ronnie did a pretty funny video of Jared trying to describe how, to a bunch of sixth grade audience, how star trails go up the wall of the tunnel, and the only tunnel that could possibly be would be if, you know, he's trying to describe a concave Earth. A tunnel, or I mean a cylinder. I mean, we're inside a cylinder.
Where's the curvature?
Where's the curvature?
Where's the curvature, Lord Stephen Christ?
You've got a little bit of problem with the curvature.
How does water bend up? Water takes the shape of its container and lays flat.
Yeah.
Like, I've leveled ceilings and buildings with water.
So last week we had invited Jaron. We had offered another olive branch for Jaron to come in, and if he wanted to bring Bob or John the Morgile. John used to be used to be on this hangout panel last year, and he's not on this panel anymore because we stood off and said, John, we have debunked the AE map and the AE model, and if you're not willing to come along, I mean, the voice of dissent is fine to a point.
He's a secret of masonry.
After a certain point has been reached.
Yeah, and now we've debunked the ice wall completely tonight. Bob, Jaron, and the Morgile, if you don't publicly denounce this circle map with a £78,000 ice wall, we will consider you to be agents. You are out there with the purpose of promoting a false model, so we expect you to denounce it. We don't think you will because we think you are agents, but time will tell. If you're honest flat earthers, you'll concede that you're busted on that model and you've got to go and search for another model. And if you don't, well, everybody knows what the truth is.
And every model that anybody does, every model that anybody comes up with or map, okay, it cannot have these same following criteria. It cannot have north in the center. It cannot have a circling sun and moon and stars. It cannot have one single pole. It cannot have an ice ring around the outside. It cannot have a circular dome over the top. It cannot have concentric circles getting larger and larger from the inside to the outside. It has to have a straight line equator. It has to have a straight line Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, because the analemma proves it must be straight. And in any map and model that does not have those criteria, which we have debunked the criteria is what debunks the map, okay? We've debunked them all. And so have a whole bunch of Globers. We're being nice about it. We're doing it the nice way. This is nice. Wait till you get an invitation to go on a mainstream television show or talk show, and they bust your ass with this stupid map and model and make all of the flat Earth a laughingstock once and for all.
Mm-hmm. Which they will do. Because the evidence is abundant.
They could do it any second. They just don't need to because everybody's buying into the false map and model.
And if you could still see my screen, this is I'm proposing this for all Christians. Why is the breastplate, the most holy thing that he told the priest to wear, square with the 12 constellations depicted in the stones. I can keep going with more of this. There's where is Eden in this where's Eden? Because I can tell you when I take the circus tent off, right where Eden is, and it's explained outside, and it tells me where the supposed portals are, the gates to east and west. It tells me my tropics. This model that we've been given even shows us the stars. How come Christians aren't talking more about the Southern Cross? There's a bloody blood of Jesus cross flying across the sky, but Eric Dubay wants you to look at Polaris.
Right.
Don't
They
look
want
at the
everybody
cross.
to focus. They want everybody to focus on the wrong things and nobody focus on the right things.
Yeah, Zeta Masonry 101.
Yeah.
Don't look at the truth. We're going to tell you it's flat.
Ronnie, you had that image of the star trails up before, and I'm kind of shocked that Globebusters doesn't look at the star trails with like that imagery, because I mean it's really everything
What do you
they're
think
talking
we're
about.
talking about, John? That's what they were looking at when Jaron was up the wall, and down the other side.
What I'm saying is they're looking at their toroidal engine with their own eyes, and they're not even recognizing it.
Yeah, they're looking right through it.
They're looking right at the toroid vortex engine that they always talk about, and they're not even recognizing it.
Right.
Yeah. Well said. Well said.
True.
And everyone can see this is the celestial equator, and it runs along the earthly equator, and it's straight.
It's a straight line.
It's straight.
Hallelujah.
I mean, the fact that there are two poles, even, people say, well, blah, blah, blah. If you say sigma octanus one more time, sigma octanus is the antipole to Polaris. It's not really there. You can't see it, but everything's circling around it. So something's there that's causing this toroidal vortex, or whatever however you want to describe it. And the most sun anomalies happen at the two poles. People say, "Oh, I see the sun going off to the north, and instead of the west, it's set, or I see it coming in at the north instead of the east at rise." And okay, I'm not going to argue. I mean, I had one person a few weeks ago wanted to pay to fly me to Alaska to watch what it is he sees, because he was, be damned that it's going in a circle.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm saying Ursa Major and Ursa Minor and the Southern Cross both rotate, 12 hours during the night, and then another 12 hours of daylight, and when you see it the next day, they're both right up in the same degree. So they're basically counting out the 24-hour clock.
Right.
Right
it's
before our eyes.
Just like a bunch of gears up there.
Like two gears. That's right. 2 gears.
Instead of drawing little dots between and connecting them up and making, oh, there's the bull, and oh, there's the ram, and oh, here's the water bearer. Okay. You're seeing little gears up there. That's what you're seeing.
That's a good point. Yeah, they're both they're all individual gears. These little we paint them as constellation. Right.
They're just not shaped like a bunch of old rusty, what do we call it?
Rusty gears, yeah.
Steampunk gears. I mean,
well, there's a difference between physical reality.
Mark Sargent tried to go there with his Truman, or his enclosed world model, where there's like steam engines running things, and there's some kind of volcano pump going on underneath everything, and so on and so forth. And so people didn't seem to have too much of a problem with that. They were like, oh, okay, whatever. But when we say it, okay, then it's like, that's crazy talk, okay? You guys are idiots. You make me sick. And so, and until good minds, strong minds, questioning minds work together to figure this out. I mean, Lawrence is got some super genius IQ. I certainly don't. Ronnie doesn't. We're just normal, average people. I mean, maybe a little smarter than some people I'm driving behind on the road now and then, but all things considered, we're just, you know, pretty high average people. And, oh God, here comes Lawrence with something.
Here's the gears, Lori.
It's always got to do.
There we
Here's the
go.
gears. Here's the gears, Lori.
Here's the gears. Okay.
You can't miss
Oh,
this.
go back. Go back.
You can't. Go
There
back.
they are.
Okay. Rewind. Here's the
Rewind.
gears. Here's the gears.
Look at that.
You know,
There they
it's been shown, and go ahead, debunk this, please. And as you can see, Polaris is depicted as it's running its straight path. These equal star trail measurements are exactly what you would expect from a magnetic flux, Bob. You know what, Lori? I don't think they listen. I still care.
Yes.
No,
You guys might not care, but I care because the truth is the truth.
yeah. Well, I don't really care that they don't listen, but just shut up and keep going on your own little path, and just ignore and disregard what we're talking about over here, because you're not stopping us. I mean, it ain't happening. You haven't even slowed us down any, Bob and Jaron and Morgile. You haven't even remotely slowed us down, or that the rat from over in UK. We're not even coming close to slowing down.
Yeah, well, if we're not going to make flat Earth news, then the flat Earth news is fake.
Well,
okay?
I don't care about flat Earth news either.
What I'm saying is, if they're not looking at the truth, it's just a game. It's a caricature. It's a for these people, it's entertainment. Well, I'm here for the truth.
Yeah.
This is certainly not what I would consider entertainment. Although Lawrence comes really close sometimes.
Hey, give me the screen. Look, I'm burning the map.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Be careful with
Lawrence,
that.
don't set your place on fire, you
It's a big map.
Oh,
Burn, baby, burn.
Lawrence
oh
gonna
my
set
God, I
on
hope you
fire.
got some kind of a tub or a can underneath of that thing. Lawrence, oh my God, you're going to get kicked out.
Burn it.
That's awesome, Lawrence.
Burn the map. It's the map of a witch. It's the
Need
map
that
of a
stupid
witch.
thing anymore.
If it's not gold or purified by the fire, it's not good enough for me.
Hey,
Oh, I
that
hope
thing
you
was
got
real.
some incense to cover up that stinky plastic smell.
Stinky Cash will.
Oh,
he'll
look
cover
at
it
all
for
this.
us.
Oh, look at all
Oh.
this freaking smoke. Lawrence, I hope you don't
Wow.
get the.
Sha-na-na-na.
Okay, for those of you listening
Hey,
to the podcast, Lawrence has just set fire to the Gleason map, and it's a very, very large one,
I
and
don't
he's
think
got
it's-
it on fire.
hey.
Lawrence, you're not
Goodbye.
burning. Oh, he's outside. Are you outside?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
I don't think that map's gonna work anymore.
What? It'll be warm. Goodbye.
Lawrence has gone outside and he's set aflame his Gleason map.
There it
A couple
is.
of weeks ago, he cut it up
Heat up
and,
your pizza on it.
to
Heat up
show us the amount that's too much land on the Gleason map, and now he's burning it up because it's done. We can't even use it to present anything anymore, to even debunk with. It's toast.
We got to burn it up. Let me see. Flat Earth News. Antonio Subrazza. We are going to burn it up. Burn it up.
Burn it up. Burn it up.
Antonio Subrazza.
You know that should make the flat
You
Earth
are a
news.
scream, dude. I can't believe you just did that.
Whoa!
You
I just got
rock
hacked
on.
again.
Rock
gotta
on,
wait.
Lawrence.
Is my camera
Make sure you don't set the house on
Yeah.
fire. You still got some flames going on over there.
Oh, they're going out now.
Okay.
Kumbaya,
Burn, baby,
my
burn.
Lord. Kumbaya.
Okay. With that, I'm gonna have to end this game tonight, and we're at 3 hours, and that's typically about all we can go before Lawrence pulls a stunt, and so he has. And so he has. So it ends.
Hey, Lori,
yes.
are you going to make this video uploadable? Can people that are listening that want to upload this go ahead?
Sure. Make sure that we don't copyright anything. I don't care if anyone uploads this and downloads this and uploads it to their own channel and shares it all over the place. Anybody who wants to sit through 3 hours, the beginning of this has a lot of very, very good information, and it's something that you can come back and listen to multiple times. And those listening to the podcast, probably we have more downloads on podcasts on iTunes than any other channel that I know of, and because we make them available to those who listen to them while they're working. And sorry, bosses, but that's how it goes. And so please do share and share alike. And if you have any questions or if you have any additions that you'd like to add to our progress on coming up with the map and model, then please add it in the chat, add them in the comments, and or send me a message to info@flatearthconspiracy.com, which is our website. And make sure you sign up for there so you get messages and information when we have news breaking stuff. And there's some nice blog articles on there. Yep. So thanks you guys for participating. Ronnie Harris from Event Skeptic channel, and John from what is your channel? Lawrence, stop making so much racket. John, what is your channel?
One Woolicki.
One Woolicki. Yep. And Lawrence is Lawrence Wright channel.
Yep.
And
I'm signing out from Norway, everybody, with the straight path of the sun in midnight. I just wanted to.
Gorgeous.
So good night, everyone. Thank you, Lori.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good one.
Thanks, everybody,
Peace.
in the chat, and thanks for listening.
Peace.
Good night.
All right.